All right, we're officially live. All right, it looks like I got a shirt just crumpled up like dirty clothing. I heard a bump, bump, bump. Was that from this?
That's my reminder that you're...
Oh, saying that I'm going live. 6 people. Who are the 6 people? I bet you're the 6 most attractive people that show up all night. Way more attractive than all the rest of the people. Except for the... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Did I say 6? I meant 8 people. But you 8 for sure. Long time no see. Like Robert Snipes. I keep thinking Snipe. Severus Snipe. Dumbledore. Ron Weasley. Hello, be one of them. Am I down under yet? No, I've got 2 more weeks in the US, and then I'm going to be, holy cow, it's just amazing. I'm going to be out of the country. Hello, Jake. Hello, Jessica. Welcome to your own live. Well, thank you for welcoming to my own live. 2 more weeks, and then we're on a plane for Australia. And little secret about me, I'm terrified of flying. And by the way, I will block the first person that tells me that the drive to the airport's more dangerous. I know it's more dangerous. I'm not actually afraid of flying. Like, flying doesn't bother me. Obviously, flying's safe. It's that I have, like, when the plane takes off, the cortisol rushes to the brain. It causes involuntary panic attack. It's not a fear of flying. It's just like it just makes me not do well mentally. So, but I will be flying to Australia. So nothing better for a fear of flying than a 13-hour plane ride. Let's see. Oh, you're the guy that was in Egypt while in the army. Oh, gotcha. Hey, hello. Skin's coming up. I am ready. Are you kidding me? Not only am I ready. Okay, I'm going to share a secret with everybody. Can you all keep a secret? Promise you guys won't tell anybody? I'm going to win all the skins next week. I don't want you to tell all the kids that are there, because then, like, either they won't show or they'll be like moping around knowing that I'm going to win. So just keep that between us. I cannot wait to go to Egypt because, look, I've seen the news. I've listened to the news. And apparently, according to U.S. News, if you go to Egypt, the minute you get off the plane, they kill you. Like, that's kind of the impression you get if you watch the news. I have since talked to, not exaggerating, a dozen people that have traveled to Egypt in the last year or 2, and they're like, yeah, totally safe. You know, the street vendors try to rip you off, just like street vendors everywhere. You know, like, you got to be smart, but they're like, it's totally safe, and the people are wonderful. So not this winter, but the winter after, I am going to, I think we're definitely going to go to Egypt. Cool. Yeah, you definitely want to bet on me for the skins match. Seriously. I know that, like, there's, I don't know, is Paul there going? No, Paul. Simon will be there, right? Eagle will be there. What about Calvin? Paul, is Ricky going to be there?
I think Ricky is, yeah.
Yeah, Ricky, even Calvin, Eagle, Calvin, Paul, Dickerson, Barella?
No, I don't think Barolella's thinking that.
Yeah, it's great. All right, we got questions coming in already. I got a great one from Craig D. When I was in my best prime disc golf form, where would you rank today versus Ricky Wysocki, Paul Macbeth, and myself? Oh, that's easy. Number 3. I know where I was at my best. I was certainly way better than I am now, but I was not ever as good as they are today. They are a level above me. Where I would be today at my prime playing these courses, because I threw so far, I would have myself as a very solid 1035 to 1040 player at my best. You know, one of the best players out there, and certainly good enough to win any tournament on any given weekend. I mean, I was going to be one of the people that would contend, but I was not Paul. I was not Ricky. I was never at that level. So I would say 1035, between 1035 and maybe 1040-ish at my peak. I would guess. Wish I could tell you otherwise, but I can't. I gotta be honest. What is the format for skins? Confusing. That's easy. First, you do this thing where you qualify, and then when you qualify, you get to advance to the next match where you do skins, and then there's people you're playing against. And if you get the most skins plus the most extra people that didn't qualify with the most skins also get in, and they go into a group, a pool of players where you play skins, and then whoever wins gets all the money. Did that help you out, Ryan? That's the best as I can understand it too. Like I literally just gave you, I did my best. I think you're going to play a round early on to qualify for the skins portion. And it's the way the round is set up is, how does it go? The way the round is set up is it's not for score. It is a par is worth 1 point, and a birdie is worth 4 points, and an eagle is worth 10 or something like that. So the way the skins is, the qualifying in playing round is set up is that you're not playing for score. You're playing for birdies and eagles, and you still get a point for a par, but no penalty for a bogey, which means you can just be hyper aggressive. I mean, it completely changes the face of how you're going to be playing because you're not worried about bogeys. Bogeys don't cost you. I think you do one round of that, and then you play in for the skins. I think. Hey, hello, Snipes. Just popping in to say thank you so much for today. It was a pleasure meeting you and having you at Kenwood. It was a great time to be at Kenwood. That course is so hard. And by the way, what I mean by hard is it's so easy, but it's so hard to play those courses against people that are good at those courses because out at Kenwood today, someone shot a 9 under for 18 holes. And that was 1030 rated? A 9 under. Like you got to shoot 15 under to break 1,000 rated.
No, it was 930 rated.
Yeah, 930 rated for 13 under.
10.
Oh, that's 1030 rated? Oh my God, take that back. Sorry. 9 under was 930 rated. Like a 15 under is 1,000 rated. Like, oh my God, that it'll crush your rating out there. They're so tough.
And thank you for the
thank you.
chat.
Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Do I think Eagles Crossing will be a DGPT event next year? Okay, I can't tell you what anybody's thinking, but I think this is my prediction is that Eagles Crossing is going to be a specialty event. I think it's going to be a place where they're going to do like the big money skins or maybe a world championships or maybe some big money challenge event or something like that. Maybe connected to DGPT, but I don't know if it's going to be on the DGPT. Just there's logistical reasons that kind of make it tough.
It might be like all-star.
Yeah, it might be like an all-star weekend or something like that, but it's going to be its own unique thing. But I don't know if it's going to be a tour event, but I don't want to speak for Philip Samuels, the owner, or Jeff Spring or any of the people. Let's see. Your wife and I want to take an online class. Do I need to register both of us or is there a group rate? Yeah, you're going to want to register for both of you. And the reason why is that one of the biggest things that's going to happen with the online class is you're going to be doing online form reviews. And you're going to be posting, it's an unlimited number of form reviews. The way I have the online class set. By the way, my 6-month online class, Become a Complete Disc Golfer, starts in November. It's not the first class. I'm currently running 6 of them online, but 2 of them are ending in October, so that it frees up a spot in November to start a new one. These classes are not just videos for you to watch. They're not just me teaching you for you to listen to and go out and do it. The biggest thing that makes these classes different and why they work is that you're going to be doing an unlimited number of form review videos. Now, unlimited doesn't, I mean, obviously you can do as many as you want to, but the idea is that it's not, well, I mean, of course it's optional. You don't have to post a form review video if you don't want anybody to see it, but that's kind of what this is for. There are certain things you're going to do, and I have you do certain things, and then you're going to post form review videos to make sure you're doing that part right. And if you're not doing it right, we're going to make corrections. You're going to go back and do it again and make sure you got that part right. And once you got that part right, then we move on to the next phase, and we give you something else to do, another layer to add to it. And then you're going to post videos of yourself doing that. That's why this works. There is a back and forth that's going to happen. But the reason I say unlimited is it's not like, oh, you get 3 form reviews per quarter, or you get 1 form review after this thing. No, everybody learns at a different pace. So if you post and something isn't right, we'll correct it. And then you post again. And if it's not right, we'll correct it. That way, 100% chance you leave throwing well. So as far as why you got to both take classes is you got to both be doing the form reviews. It's very important. So yes, so scottstokely.net is where you'd sign up for those online classes. When I finished second in Worlds, did the pressure get to you, or did you just get outplayed, or was it never in reach? No, I mean, I got outplayed. So I finished second in Worlds twice. The first year, I was actually in first place after 4 rounds. And then I just had one bad round, and I lost like, I'm going to make up the numbers. I'm probably going to get it wrong, but I lost like 7 pounds. I lost like 7 strokes or something at Hornet's Nest on the 5th round. And then I think I lost by 7. So I just had one bad round, and my opponent, Ken, had 0 bad rounds. So that was that. Other than that, we played similar. The second year where I finished, I only lost by, well, it's a 9.5 round tournament. I only lost by 4 strokes. So less than a stroke around. And I do not believe we had a single round where we finished more than 1 stroke apart. It was just, we tied, he beat me by 1. We tied, he beat me by 1. It was slowly inching away. But I played well. I didn't play poorly. I did everything. I felt good about it. I do remember something from this. So no, definitely it wasn't the pressure game. Like, that's never been an issue. I can tell you this, at that tournament, 9.5 rounds, I had 3 bogeys and 1 double bogey in 9.5 rounds. I'll never forget that, because that was like crazy. So I did good. No pressure though. Just, this is, by the way, Eric, I got one for you. This is something that I remember, because everyone asks about Ken Climo, obviously. The best answer I ever heard was from Charles Barkley. And this actually gave me a little bit of closure, because he said one time in an interview, he goes, my daughter asked me how come I could never beat Michael Jordan. And Charles Barkley's answer was, because he's better than me. That's it. It's like, oh, okay. That seems fair enough. Nothing to be ashamed of. I think probably at the time of the World Championships, probably there were worldwide probably 1 million players, at least on the casual level or above. Between 500,000 and 1 million, and I was number 2 out of all of them. Like, all right, like, so one person was better than me. I'm okay with that. By the way, that doesn't mean I was okay with it at the time. I cried like a baby whenever I lost the World Championships. Like, I bawled all the way home. I was driving home. But in hindsight, I'm cool. I'm cool with it. All right. Hey, real quick. Thank you for the
answer this one for a second.
Oh, it's a question. When did I start playing disc golf? Love your tutorials. Thank you so much. I started playing disc golf in 1976 on the world's first course, when it was the only course in the entire world. So I started at the beginning. And the reason I started playing, how did I start playing disc golf, is that my dad died. I was 7 years old, and my mom would take me to all the different parks in the area. And one had a merry-go-round that was like I liked. One had the tallest swing set. One had a tree I liked to climb. Like, they all just had something different about them. That was like, that's what was the thing in that park. One of them had a frisbee golf course. Had no idea that was unusual, that it was the only one. All I knew was that, like, that was what you did when you went to that park. That park had no merry-go-round, no swing set, had a Frisbee golf course. So my mom would actually take me to play Frisbee golf because there wasn't anything else to do in the park but play Frisbee golf. But she would go there and she would sit at the bench and she would have lunch, or her and her friend Diane would have lunch while me and Brian Pansino would go play around Frisbee golf with Frisbees they bought at the store. Like, it was just a game in the park. And thank you. Yeah, I'm proud of my tutorials. That's why the online class is going to be like, if you like my online tutorials, the classes are 100 times better because they're interactive and they're far more comprehensive.
And all that stuff about you growing up is in the book.
Oh yeah, everything about that is in this book right here. Scott Stokely, Growing Up Disc Golf. You can go to scottstokely.net to buy the book, or to get a link to download the audiobook, read by Morgan Freeman. Or wait, no, it's even better than that. It was read by me. Way better than Morgan Freeman. But I read the book, and I think it turned out really well. Also, if you go to scottstokely.net, the Stokely Universe discs are available. These are all on Discraft ESP buzzes. And these are part of the Stokely Universe. It's a full collection coming out. We're going to have a new disc coming out every month. So, oh, by the way, there's signed copies of the book there as well, and signed copies of the discs.
Do you want to tell them about the other special thing that's on the website?
Oh my God, how could I forget? Yeah, you have a picture you can pull up?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'll wait for you to pull a picture up. We got something else. Oh my God, I can't believe I totally brain farted. We have something really cool on the site as well that I think y'all are going to dig, and we're just going to get a picture of it. By the way, you can pull them off the site. It's the best place to pull them.
Right on. Yeah,
so give me a second. There's a virtual drum roll happening. You just can't hear it. Pop up a question while you're pulling that up.
Pressure for me,
no pressure for you. Just hurry up. They're waiting. We're losing them. We're going to lose sales. We're losing money. What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Oh, you love me?
Answer a question.
Oh, okay. Oh. Scott Riley. Hello, Scott Riley. Met a guy who sat next to me in my high school drama class. Wow. I'm trying to think, high school drama class. Do you remember what his name was?
Did you even go to high school?
No, I went to high school. Of course I went to high school. I went to high school for a year and a half, just like everyone. About a year and a half. I want to know who the person I sat next to was. Yeah, Scott Riley's great. He's one of the best golfers in Northern California in the 90s and 2000s. And still good, I'm sure. But, I mean, back then he was like top tier. Let's see.
We'll come back to that when he sends it in right now.
All right. Yeah. So Scott Riley, tell me who that person was next to me in my high school drama class. I know that when I was in school, it's so. Oh, okay. So how do you pronounce it?
Primatist?
Primatist. So it's Latitude 64's very first disc. I think it was made in 2006. It's the first disc they ever made, called the Primatist. I have two different colors available. They are discontinued. They do not make them anymore. I'm always straight with y'all as far as what things are worth. This is not a $500 disc you're picking up for $20. It doesn't have the massive collector's value financially, but if you're looking at, and by the way, I will tell you, if I have something that I think, like the Juju, which is also up on the site from the first Ching disc, is like high level collector's value. They sell for way more than I'm selling them for. I'm selling for $50 the Juju, and they're on eBay for between $100 and $250. But this is, if you're looking to collect something, it's the very first Latitude 64 driver. I don't know if it's their first disc, but it's definitely the first driver. You can't. They're out of production. You can't get them anymore. So definitely check those out on my website. I got two different colors available. Let's see.
All right, we haven't gotten an answer about high school yet.
About the
so
high school
we'll go
thing?
to the next question.
Let's see. I am viewed as the conscience of disc golf. I've never heard that before.
That's so cute.
But I love it. I mean, look, this is not arrogance. Like if I would wind up being anointed as the voice of our sport in some way, just because of how long I've been playing, or if you or other people think that I represent the sport the way you want it represented, it would be an honor. That's really, really, really neat. I will just add to this is that one of the things that I can do is that I bridge the gap between the old school and the new school. Like all those 70s players from the Rose Bowl and the 80s players and the Wild West days of the sport, like they're all my friends. And I'm just out on the Disc Golf Pro Tour with all the kids. And so I do and feel like I can fairly accurately speak for everyone because not everybody comes from the same place and experiences. So do I have any comment on Nico's suspension being reduced from 9 months to 6 months? Sure I do. I think it's great that his suspension ended to give him time to start off next year fresh. He got a massive penalty, lost sponsors, lost money, hurt his reputation, hurt his potential future sponsorship, hurt his potential earnings. He got penalized big time. I like the fact that he's able to start this next year fresh. Here's what I hope. Please, and if I could ask everybody, well, it's only 83 of you, but if I was speaking for disc golf, he's paid his penalty. When he starts off next year, give him a clean slate. You know, if he had never faced a penalty for what he did, and you feel like, oh, Nico's, you know, like I feel this way or that way, it's not fair that he, got away with doing something that you didn't like that's okay. But he didn't get away. He paid a penalty. So he's done his time. I want everybody out there to give him a clean slate and let him show up there and do his best. He's a human being, and he has failings just like you do, just like I do. And he's going to do his best. And give him a shot. Give him a shot to do better. And if he falls again, he gets penalized. And then give him another shot. Like, don't stop giving shots. Nico's a good guy. Nico's my friend. So yeah, I big supporter of Nico. He's a very, very good person. Did I ever beat Ken Climber at a disc golf tournament? Rarely.
Doubles?
Rarely. Oh yeah, I used to win doubles all the time, but it was not often. You know, it was very rare. By the way, I don't feel bad. None of us beat Ken often. I was. The thing that I struggled with more than anything is that disc golf in the 90s was approaching and putting. Wasn't really about drives. It was just about throwing approach shots and putting. Now, technically, you're throwing 18 drives around, but if they're under 350 feet, they're approach shots, you know. Now, some players back there still had to throw drivers to get to the hole back then. But that's not because 350 feet is long. We know how far 350 feet is compared to a professional disc golf athlete. A 350-foot shot is an approach shot. And approaching and putting was and has been the weaker part of my game. So I rarely beat Ken because that was not my strength. It was my weakest part of my game. Whenever I got to play national doubles on a 9,000-foot course, I was winning that tournament every year because I got to actually throw drives also. So it's not an excuse, by the way. It's like it's my fault for not being stronger at that part of my game. But it was a real struggle for me. Like I've never been good at throwing 280-foot shots and making all the putts. And by the way, not good means I was finishing second place at Worlds instead of first. It's not that I wasn't good. I had 5 years where I finished top 5 years in a row. So it's not that I wasn't good at it, but just not good enough. It's all going to be on video.
The Eagles Crossing.
Eagles Crossing, yes, but I'm not sure how the format is as far as the live stream and how it's going to be filmed. I don't know the details of that.
Disc Golf Final Four, they're selling the live stream access.
Okay, so they are selling live. Okay, so Disc Golf Final Four, that's the website, is selling live stream access to the event. It's going to be hard because I'll be honest. Like I'm pretty sure every single camera is going to be on me. Like, no offense to all the other players, but why would you film anyone other than me? You know, like if you have 12 cameras, it's way better to get me from 12 different angles than 12 different people, obviously. So, you know, but I highly recommend getting the live stream so you can see 12 different shots of me on every hole. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. What? Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying they're going to be filming other people too? Wait, what? Why? Like other groups besides my group? Dude, they're going to kill their ratings that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's, oh, okay. So I'm sorry. I apologize. God, no one's has any business sense in this world, it seems like. Okay, so apparently I was wrong. They're going to be filming all the top players. They're going to be filming Eagle and Calvin and Simon also, not just me. So, I mean, if you still want to get it, if you have to watch all of them, then go for it. Yeah, it's fine. How do I feel about the certification of caddies to assist players like the PDJ? I mean, it's probably, I mean, we're going to move that way. You know, ball golf's been around longer, and the culture of ball golf allows for coaching and training and teachers and academies and caddies and all these other things, right, that exist in ball golf. Well, we're the same species of animal that plays ball golf. Our culture hasn't opened up to it, some of those things yet. But as our culture opens up to all these different things, I don't see any reason why it's not going to go the same direction. We're going to have swing coaches. We're going to have caddies. Certification of caddies, like, I don't know that if they need to be certified. Like, I kind of like the idea of, like, I don't think that needs to be certified. If a caddy is representing the player, and if the caddy breaking the rule penalizes the player, well, then the player can make sure the caddy knows what they're doing. I don't think it's a big deal. But yeah, like, caddies aren't certified now. It hasn't been a problem. It's like, it's not broke. Having said that, they'll probably have to be certified because that's the way. Like, everyone has to get licensed nowadays. By the way, do you have Phil's number on your phone?
Yeah.
Can you message him, let him know the live stream's on? Tell them to tune in. So, anyways, yeah, I don't think it's necessary, but it'll probably happen because people like certification control. I don't know why. Hello, Benita. Hi, Scott. We're on the road. Question: what do you want to do to celebrate your 100th birthday? My plan is to go to roller rink and skate unassisted, then go throw some discs. That's a good question. For my 100th birthday, well, it'll be in August, so I'll probably be on the Disc Golf Pro Tour in, Idlewild? Maybe Iowa? So I'll celebrate my birthday by cashing on the Disc Golf Pro Tour by averaging 1,002 for 4 rounds. Actually, that 1,002 won't cash in 50 years. Yeah. I don't know, but I tell you what I won't be doing. Well, I'll be one of two things. I'll either be dead or I will be doing something awesome. I will not be sitting on a rocking chair somewhere or like watching Madlock waiting to go. Like, I'll be the only thing I know is I'll be doing something or nothing. You plan to eat at Skyline this week. You're never going to live to be 100 if you eat at Skyline Chili. Oh, wait, that goes for me too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Eat at Skyline. Do pro disc golf players ever throw a disc from a brand that's not their sponsor at a tournament? Rarely. You know, like, there have been stories about players throwing a disc from their old company and using acetone to take the hot stamp off and putting a hot stamp of the disc they want on there. I don't think that really happens anymore. The smaller companies are all cool with the mixed bag. They want it to be 75% their discs or 25% their discs, depending on the size of the company. It's not necessary. If you throw Innova Discraft, Trilogy, MVP, like, they make a full set of discs. So like I don't think they do. Or let's put it this way: if they do it, they're not telling anybody. So the fact that I'm not aware of it doesn't mean they don't do it, but no one else is aware of it either. Like that would leak out if people knew. Like, it's something that everybody would know. So I'm guessing no. Oh my gosh. Wait. What was this?
Was it too fast?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It's like a delayed click and then it unclicked. Hold on. I'll find it.
It says, what was your favorite disc when I threw all my discs in the water at Nationals and broke my arm?
There you go.
What was my favorite disc in the bag at the time I threw all my discs in the water and broke my arm? Okay, first let me give some background to that story, because that story's right here in Scott Stokely growing up disc golf. So I used to be a wee bit of a punk kid. And by a wee bit of a punk kid, I mean I was an asshole. By the way, it's a PG-13. So what I mean by that is I was an anal cavity. At the 1987 Lomrod Open, which some people called Nationals. I don't think it was called the Nationals, but some people called it that, whatever. I made it to the finals, the final 9, top 4 players. I'm in second place behind RJ Jerez. And by 1 stroke behind, and I played the worst final 9 ever. I'm 17 years old. And like, I should have won national, whatever it was. I thought I should have won. So we went up to the top of the hill at the awards ceremony, and I was like, oh, cool. Let me go ahead and just show everybody how pissed off I am at finishing 4th place, even though everybody else there, minus 3 people, would have traded places with me. I just launched my discs one at a time, every disc I owned, from the pro shop down the hill into Lamourado Lake. And on one of the final throws, I stepped into a rain gutter, slipped, fell, broke my arm in front of everybody. By the way, amazing. Hilarious. If it happened to somebody else, I would think it was the coolest thing that ever happened. Like, I thought it was great. I didn't think it was great at the time, but when I look back, I'm like, well, no shit. That's what happens when you act like that. I'm glad you broke your arm, dummy. So anyways, that's what I did. And then on the way home, Paul Harris, who like nobody remembers, but the sweetest, most gentle, senior grandmaster who ever lived, and never said a bad word to anybody. He drove me home with my broken arm, and it's the only time I've ever heard him say negative word to anybody. He says he just basically says, you can't act like this, Scott. That's not how you're supposed to act. And it stuck. Well, I'm talking about it 30 years later, so I guess it stuck with me 35 years later. Anyways, my favorite disc in the bag was probably an XD. An AVR XD. That in 1987 was the farthest flying disc in the world for a very short window. And I won the Wintertime Open earlier that year, which was a massively big tournament, my first major win. And the XD was my primary driver then, so I'm sure it was an XD. I don't know. That's stupid. Why'd you have to bring that up? That's so embarrassing. But I'm glad it happened, though. And believe me, I'm serious. I'm not a hypocrite. If anybody else had a bad final 9 and threw every single disc they had into the lake and they broke their arm, I would laugh out loud. And if they looked over and saw me laughing and we made eye contact, it would make me laugh even louder. 1 disc, only 1 round. What are you bringing? It depends on the course. Like a Berg. Like, obviously, a Berg, unless the course is longer, then I'd probably throw a Harp. And then if it was probably a little bit longer, I would probably throw a Strike or a Felon. And then if it was really long, I probably wouldn't throw a long-range driver either way. So a Strike or a Felon, or a Berg or a Harp.
All right, talk about this.
Oh, this. Oh, all right. So check this out. See this shirt right here? This shirt you can buy at scottstokely.net. It's part of the Stokely Universe. Look at this. Is that the coolest thing you ever seen? Look at the back. We were going to call these guys walkers, but then apparently, like, that's been used by, like, oh, it's that show. They filmed in Newbern. Whatever it's called. There's a zombie show. What's the zombie show called? Netflix.
Something Dead.
Oh, The Walking Dead?
Maybe.
No.
I don't know. I don't watch TV.
God, I don't watch TV. Anyways, apparently they use the word walkers, so I think we're gonna call them standers. Is standers a real word?
Sure.
Okay, these guys are the standers. But that's available at scottstokely.net. And by the way, if this looks familiar, that's the picture on the shirt. These are all part of the Stokely Universe. These are Discraft ESP buzzes, full color at scottstokely.net. And you can buy, check this out, the very first Latitude 64 disc ever made. Not the actual first disc, but the first disc ever made. It's called the Primatist. It's out of production. I have a whole bunch of these. Oh, The Walking Dead. Yeah, The Walking Dead. What did I say?
Yeah.
Well, I said something else.
Dead?
I said The Living Dead. I did. No, I dated myself. I know. So I don't watch TV. But the Primatist from Latitude is available. By the way, you also have also put up the Juju. Yeah, if you go and find a picture of that. So that's available. It's not like the rarest, $1,000 disc out there, but if you're collecting discs, it's the first Latitude disc. It's pretty cool. And I have one more disc available too to show you. Which, oh my God, you're taking forever. You're embarrassing me. They're gonna think. Just kidding. I want to try to pretend like I'm mad at you. Except people, if I acted like I was mad at you, people would take it serious. They would think
you're not a very good actor. Huh?
I know I'm not a very good actor. What are you gonna do? The Juju. That is the first disc ever from Ching Discs. That disc is extremely rare. It's the very first run in the discontinued Fusion plastic. The entire Ching line is discontinued as well. These are selling for $50 a piece on my site. If you go to eBay, you'll see them going for between $100 and $250 a piece. And the only reason I'm not selling them for more is because I'm traveling and we're about to leave the country and they're in the warehouse, and I'm not going to put them up on eBay and follow the auction and then stop by a post office to go in and mail one disc out at premium dollar. I'd rather just get rid of them for $50 a piece, but that means they're a great investment as a collectible disc. As far as the Primatist, the first one, pop that one up. I'm not going to promise that's going to be a super, super rare. My honest prediction is this disc is never worth a ton of money. So this is not a financial investment disc. It's just a neat disc to have because it's the first Latitude disc.
Explain what the Juju is.
Oh, the Juju. Oh, real quick, the Juju. Yeah, it's Ching Discs, a hibernating company. Rumor has it somebody bought the company and might be bringing them back. I heard a rumor. So it's not a dead company. It's a hibernating company. And the disc has these thumb tracks in it where you can put your thumb at different lengths from the rim. It's pretty darn neat. All right. Wait, Juju is a Susie and the Banshees album? No way. Susie Q? Susie and the Banshees? She's one of the original punk rock girls up there with Deborah Harry and she's one of the old school ones. Joan Jett, believe it or not, used to be an old school punk before she became a pop star. Before she realized there's a lot more money in doing a song that people play on a jukebox.
Selling out? Oh yeah.
Yeah, selling out. By the way, when I was younger, I used to be this old school punk. If a band sold more than 8 albums, I was like, screw these guys, they're sellouts. And oh my God, God forbid, you heard one of their songs on the radio. I was I hated them, but I would throw the albums away, wouldn't listen to them anymore because they're complete sellouts. I thought there was something it was very romanticized to be a poor, starving artist. Then I got a little older and I realized it's way better to not be struggling financially than struggling financially. And so now I kind of respect the bands that got to do their thing for a while, where they got to be true to their roots when they're young, when money doesn't matter. And then later on when they sell out and are cool, now I want silk sheets and a nice bed. I'm I got your back now, old guys. When I was younger, I didn't though. What's the price for my classes? Interested? Yeah, the price for the 6-month class is $300. You can do it in like installment payments. So if you want to do it, you can do it and just pay the $50 a month for the classes. But let me tell you how the classes work. Oh, I told everybody, Reagan Youth. Oh my God, Reagan Youth. Someone just said Reagan Youth. Let me tell you something about Reagan Youth. I had a chance to see Reagan Youth like 2 years ago on New Year's Eve in Colorado Springs, and I was with a partner who didn't want to drive to Colorado Springs to see Reagan Youth, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! And like, I didn't go.
It was more than 2 years ago because I was with you.
Oh, it wasn't 2 years. So it must have been 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like I actually could have gone to go see 4 years ago to see Reagan Youth. I'd never seen Reagan Youth. Unbelievable. Okay, so the classes. So the classes are awesome. They're 6-month classes. Is anybody interested in hearing about teaching disc golf? Because I posted about that on my website. So comment, please, if anybody's interested in hearing about the teaching program that we just created and are about to launch. But the classes, it's a 6-month online class. It's not just me doing videos and a curriculum. It's actually me doing several live classes a month. Then you're going to be given assignments to work on certain skills, and then you're going to have an unlimited number of form reviews where you post about you are going to post your the thing I'm having you do, and either myself or the 5 paid trainers that are in there right now, and this is going to change either more or less depending on how many people in the next class, but it'll be enough trainers so you'll get attention quickly, are going to review the forms and review what you're working on, have you make changes, you're going to make corrections, you're going to post more reviews. It's a full back and forth that'll take place over 6 months. It works so well. Everybody taking the class is like, I was skeptical about an online class. Holy crap, I ripped the disc now. Or holy crap, I can hit the fairway now. Or holy crap, I got a sidearm. It's really amazing. All right. You got a bunch of yeses on the teaching. Okay, so here's how the teaching is going to work. And I'm not going to try to give it to you like a sales pitch. I'm just going to give you the whole picture. I'll make it kind of quick though. So anybody can teach disc golf if you have the skills in teaching disc golf. It does not mean that you must be at a certain high level. It can be an easier sale. Oh, I'm a 1,000-rated player, or I'm on the pro tour. I give lessons. Like, yeah, that's a great sales pitch as to why you will get sales that way. But you don't have to be at any level to be a good teacher, right? All you got to do is be able to teach. Now, this method, the Stokely disc golf method that I created, the Stokely method has nothing to do with how to throw. I do not teach players to throw differently than any other teacher teaches. We all agree on the right way to throw. Watch the pros. That's how it's supposed to look. The method is a very unique process, a step-by-step process I developed to teach disc golf that is unique to me. Nobody teaches the way I do. It's the most effective, in my humble opinion. And by humble, I mean not humble at all. I love what I've created. It's my life's work. So I am opening it up for people to become certified Stokely method teachers. So here's how the process is going to work. First, you'll have to sign up for the 6-month online class. Or if you had come to one of my seminars, that also qualifies. But basically, you will have had to have gone through this process and learned the process to get there. You needed to have seen, I have you do this first. Everybody's doing this. Then we add this layer. Like, you have to have gone through it. So if you want to be a certified teacher, first thing you have to do is sign up for the 6-month class. Then after the class, there's going to be a short certification process where I'm going to be teaching specifically how to teach the method, which you will have seen, but there's also more to it than that. I'm going to test you because I want to make sure everybody that has my name associated with it is teaching the right way, because it's better for everybody if the reputation of this method works. So we need to protect it. And then you're going to be able to teach using my name. Now, here's the cool part. Well, it's all cool, but here's the coolest part. Oh, it's not a pyramid scheme. I'm certifying teachers in my method. This is normal business. We just talked to someone today who's a hairstylist that teaches classes under a teaching brand. And Ledbetter, who was the most well-known ball golf teacher, certified teachers under his teaching method. There's no pyramid. It does not go down. It's me and the teachers. That's it. No pyramid. But here's the cool part is that once you have the certification and you teach, like, you'll be able to bring in business yourself. But we are about to launch discgolflessons.com. It is a comprehensive database of hopefully every disc golf teacher in the entire world is going to be listed in this database. And then we will be advertising and marketing the hell out of this database as the one-stop shop to get your disc golf lessons. So if you're in Baltimore, well, then somebody in that part of Maryland or that part of Virginia or somewhere near you is searching for disc golf lessons. They go to discgolflessons.com. It's going to detect where they are, and it's going to say, who are the teachers in this area? Teachers in that area are going to pop up, and then the person just simply looks. This person's closer to me than that person. This person has 2 reviews. This person has 19 reviews. This person has 5 stars. This person has 3 stars. To determine how much they cost, when the availability, like anything else, they're gonna determine who they want to get their lessons from. But one of the big selling points, will say right there, let's see. Okay, now I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah.
All right. So basically, when they're going to search, if you're a Stokely certified, I'm not getting defensive. I was being goofy. So no, I hate pyramid schemes. Like, I mean, like that stuff. I hate scams. I hate that shit. So I was joking with you because I know you were joking. I was just kind of joking back. So the when you sign up, or when people look for lessons, they can search and specifically ask for Stokely certified method teachers, so they can find one of my teachers in their area. Which, if that's you, that's who gets that customer or that student. But also, that name is so widely recognized with teaching disc golf, and people have gone to the serve the pizza, the snap, the sidearm, all these throwing flat videos and been like, oh, that works. Right, it does work, and people know the way I teach works. So when they go to, when you are certified, when they see that, oh, there's a Stokely certified teacher, they're far more likely to choose you, all things being equal, than the other person in your town that's teaching. So that's the short pitch on it. So the way, if you want to do this, all you have to do is sign up for the 6-month class at scottstokely.net and go through the whole process. And which, by the way, it's good for your game too. You're going to be better, but then you will have learned the process to then teach.
So
sign up at scottstokely.net. This is my life's work that I've put into this class. This is not some fly-by-night thing that I just started doing. This is like everything. It's a lifetime's worth of teaching disc golf, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. It is all come together in this 6-month class. I'm so proud of it, and everyone's doing great.
Is it mandatory knuckle tats?
Mandatory knuckle tattoos, yes. Well, if you want to get advanced certification, yeah, you can teach like just private lessons. By the way, you'll be able to teach private lessons. You'll be able to teach clinics, which is where you get groups of people to come out and you teach. You'll be able to use the certification to get schools, to get everything, like everything else. And you're not paying for all these different things. You're simply on the website. You'll simply select, I'm available for private lessons. I'm available for clinics also. I'm available for schools. I'm available for different things. The only thing you're not going to be qualified to do with the certification is the full day seminars. That's a whole separate thing. That is just a whole different level of commitment. Like nobody doing seminars hasn't come to my seminars in person and just sat there with a notepad and took notes. And so the full day seminars is the only thing you can't do with the certification, and we'll figure out a way to do that as well. But I'm just that's a whole different ball game. Can I send you a harp with my sponsor stamp on it? Okay, so I'm going to be leaving the country in 2 weeks, and then I'm going to be gone. So I don't want to sound underappreciative, but I don't know where I'm going to be in 3 days or what hotel or where I'm going to be. And then I'm going to be out of the country. And I'll be honest, since we're traveling full time and we're going overseas, like I'm going to be taking just what's in my golf bag with me and a couple of backup discs. So I can't really travel with anything. So please don't think I'm not appreciative if I say no. I don't like. I don't have room. I mean, and literally, like I'm talking about carry on an airplane level. That's how much stuff I'm bringing with me. I'll check in like 2 boxes. First disc golf course is Oak Grove Park in Pasadena, California. That's the first permanent course, anyways. They put up temporary courses for tournaments before then, but the first permanent course was Oak Grove in Pasadena. How long will I be in Austin? I'll be in Austin Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Out on Friday, yep.
And then gone on Friday. So I'll be there for 5 days. I'm doing the what would you call it? The
keynote speech.
I'm doing I was asked to be the keynote speaker at the opening ceremonies of the National Amateur Championships. 1,500 amateurs and me on a microphone. Believe it or not, I'm actually nervous to be talking to 1,500 people live. Like I'm fine with like 100. 1,500 is a lot.
I heard it was going to be 2,500.
2,500. Oh God! Now why are you saying that? Now I'm having a panic attack. I was fine with 1,500, but 2,500 is too much.
You made fun of me about sharks last week, so now we get to talk about big audiences.
Okay. How important is it to be for the live sessions for the class, considering the live class conflict will work? Okay. So in a perfect world, it's nice to be there live because then you can ask me questions in real time as they come up. That's the biggest reason why the live would benefit you. If you're not able to go there live, every single class will be recorded and every single question you want to ask, everything that you ask me will get answered. It's no different. You're just going to post to the group. It's going to be on Discord, but you're going to post to the class group and I'll answer your questions. So the only thing lost by not being live is that you ask a question, it might get answered right away. It might get answered a few hours later. If I'm asleep, it might be 8 hours later before it gets answered. So that, that's not the perfect situation, right? Perfect situation is you're there live, but it's not like you're going to miss anything. You won't lose a single thing. There's just going to be a little bit of a time delay. That's one nice thing about the 6-month class, though, is that it's not like a 48-hour class and like, oh no, you're out of luck, time's up, right? I mean, if you get an answer the next day on a 6-month class, you're still getting all the info. Where can you buy the Tour Series Baobab? They're not on your website. Who said there's going to be a Tour Series Baobab? Did you say anything about a Tour Series Baobab?
I saw a chipmunk with one.
You saw a chipmunk with one. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was in the Redwood Forest.
In the Redwood Forest. The Tour Series Baobab certainly has not been released or announced yet. So I don't know what you're talking about. In about a month. The next disc to be announced is the Assassin, and then hypothetically, if I was doing a Tour Series Baobab, it would be the one after the Assassin. Hypothetically, I'm not saying I will be doing a Baobab. I'm not saying I already got them in. I'm not saying they're already in the warehouse ready to go. I'm not even saying that I didn't sign 100 of them, so the first 100 would be signed. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if I was about to release the Baobab, give it a month.
But are you saying that the Assassin's going to be available pretty soon?
Oh, I guess technically I'm not saying the Assassin's going to be available soon, except the Assassin will be available soon. That's coming out quick. I don't know, because we might do we'll have to talk about that, because we might do we might do that sooner than the Baobab. Probably announced on, I'm guessing, the Friday of the National Amateur. So yeah, so the Assassin's next though. If you like a particular disc and only buy one weight, should you go for the heaviest? No, probably. So lighter lighter discs fly farther. Okay, max weight discs are not the farthest flying discs. I mean, with no wind or especially with a tailwind, lighter discs would fly far. What? Okay. All right. So lighter discs do fly farther. So discs in the 160s will fly farther than discs in the 170s. And if you throw softer, if you're throwing like under 200 feet, then discs in the 150s will actually fly farther than the 160s. So you do want to throw lighter preferred if that's your only goal. Um, Having said that, a lot of players, and myself included, find it easier to control heavier discs. So for me, I like heavier discs because I can keep them in the fairway more. I'm on the hotel Wi-Fi. Hold on a second. Let's make sure. Yeah, I'm on the hotel Wi-Fi. All right. So even though I throw pretty far, I'm still competing against these kids that throw real far on these 12,000 foot courses. Distance still matters, and I will sacrifice a little bit more distance for the disc I have more control over. So I throw max weight even though they don't fly as far, and there are times when I want to throw farther. I still throw max weight discs.
Plug some discs.
Plug some discs. Okay, so first off, real quick, Stokely Universe, Discraft, ESP buzzes. These 3 discs are available at scottstokely.net. Just click the shop button. These are all Discraft ESP buzzes. The artist's name is Creative Rob out of Austin, Texas. He's the best artist we've ever seen. I take 0 credit for these. But it's part of the Stokely Universe. It's a series of discs and shirts and towels and hats and all this stuff that are coming out with these beautiful, like full color hot stamps that are all drawn to be in my universe. Also, 2 discs available on my site, both of them collectible. First is the Latitude 64. The lag, so it's called. It's called the. There you go, Latitude 64 Primatist. That is the first driver Latitude ever made. They're out of production. I have 2 different colors available at scottstokely.net. They are, I'm honest with everybody. Like, I don't think these are going to be something you're going to stick in the attic, and then all of a sudden they're worth $1,000 in 5 years. Like, I don't see that happening. I think these are they're neat because they're the first Latitude 64 drivers, maybe the first Latitude 64 discs, but they're originals.
It's the Premier Edition.
Premier Edition. It's the only disc that ever came out in that plastic. So they're really cool to have in your collection because they're cool. And I'm selling them for $20. Like, that's the cost of a disc. The second disc I have on the website is the Ching Juju. This one is a valuable disc. They go for between $50 and $250, or between $100 and $250 on eBay, but I'm selling them for $50 a piece in the Fusion plastic. It's the very first run of a disc company that is not out of business, but definitely in hibernation. But the Juju from Ching is it's cool. Those, by the way, all the bumps on top are thumb tracks. You can decide where you want to put your thumb based on the thumb track, and the thumb tracks are different distances from the rim, so you can pick the track that works for you. So the Juju from Ching is it's a sick.
And the 170s, the Latitude.
They're the weights?
Yeah.
The weights are in the 170s. All right. So by the way, feel free to send weird questions too. I'm all about the weird questions. I don't think you can ask a question that I'm not going to answer. Probably. stay away from ugly topics. But if I went bowling right this second, what score do I reckon I would get? Right this second, as long as I had my own equipment, I mean, I would probably be in the 170s. Like, I would say it would take me a week before I was in the 200s, and then another month to be up in the 210, 215 range. I mean, the reactive resins they have. I mean, the way the balls are built today, they make the game really, really easy. And the way the oil patterns are set they're generally at leagues are set up in a way where it's easy to score. They're just so incredibly forgiving that as long as you know what you're doing, you're gonna score on these lanes. So yeah, I would say 170s, and I would be in the 200s within a week, comfortably, easily. Oh, okay, Kevin, 9:22 p.m. You just logged in. Hopefully, you didn't miss how to become a teacher conversation. Jess Tejas, the man of the PDJ, could take something similar to the Roadrunners Club of America. That is an actually recognized program that helps interested individuals become a certified coach. PDJ doesn't have anything like that. They also lack the resources to help startup groups under the PDJ nonprofit umbrella as the RRCA does, but that's another issue. So we don't have a second part of this. Okay, so here's the deal, Kevin. I just finished talking a whole bunch about this that everybody that's in here just heard. But if you don't, yes, I am absolutely certifying teachers, training. I'm even going to be sending you students through my national program. Like I got this, I'm about to launch something really big. But since we just talked about it, hang out for a little bit. In the next, I would say 20 minutes, I'll circle back to it. Okay. You have my word. And if you have to go to bed or if you have big plans, you can always just message me later. I'll send you the information. But I hope you stick around. I just don't want to rehash something we just went over. Happy to talk about it though. It's a big part of why I'm here. I play really well when relaxed with friends and leagues, but I'm totally mentally basket case when it comes to competition and tournaments. What advice do you have to people that struggle in competition? I got great advice. Dude, take a chill pill. Oh, that's terrible advice. Okay, don't take a chill pill. Here's what. So the biggest. Okay, so I'm going to give you a short answer, and then I'm going to give you a video to watch. The short answer is you need to do as much as possible to replicate how you play with friends and leagues in tournament situations. Even though it's a tournament situation, place yourself in that position. And I'm going to illustrate this with a story. Some of you have heard this before, and I apologize, but it's still a cool story because this kind of best illustrates this mindset because it's a true story and it's kind of funny. And this is the part where I start ripping on sports psychologists. I always like to warn people I'm about to totally rip on those people that know way more about this than me. They got their PhDs and they're really smart and they've studied sports psychology their whole lives, and I think they're wrong. In fact, I think they're blatantly wrong, a lot of them. So here, I'll explain. Player came up to me and said, "Hey, I get first hole jitters. Like, God, I don't know what it is, but the first hole of tournaments, I always have a case of the nerves. I always seem to bogey the first couple holes because of those first hole jitters." And I said, "Oh, well, tell me what you do when you hear the 2-minute warning before the round starts." Because at tournaments, PDJ tournaments with shotgun starts, which is most of them, you get out to your hole 2 minutes before tee time. They sound the 2-minute horn, and then you stop putting, practicing. You gather up, wait for 2 minutes, then they blow the start horn. So I said, "What do you do when you hear the 2-minute horn?" And this is what he said, and almost verbatim. He said, "Well, I got this book on sports psychology," and I immediately laughed because clearly the book wasn't helping you if you're asking me, right? Like, obviously, like, what's in that book is not working. And this is what he said. He goes, "I got this book on sports psychology, and here's what the book said to do." So as soon as I hear the 2-minute warning, the first thing I do is I wander off by myself. And then I close my eyes. And I visualize a line from this part of my head to this part of my head, a line from this part to this part, and a line from the top to the bottom. And I can visualize them inside my head, but right now none of those lines are touching. So I know that I'm not centered yet. I every time I tell the story, I say, I have no idea what that means. What do you mean you're not centered? It sounds like a made-up word, but I'm not centered yet. So I mentally move the lines around in my head, and I just concentrate on moving them. And I'm trying to get them to all converge. And finally, if I do it long enough, they converge at one point, and then it kind of starts to glow. So I know I'm centered. And then what I do, so I open my eyes. And then in order to relax, I take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then I get up to walk back to the hole, and I got first hole jitters. And I was like, yeah, like, of course you have first hole jitters. I said, do you get nervous at league night? They said, no, I don't get nervous at league night. Do you get nervous practicing? No. When do you get nervous? At tournaments. I said, all right. Here's what this book told you to do. You get nervous at tournaments. How many different ways can we remind you and reinforce the idea that you're at a tournament right now? So this is what the book says. The first thing you need to do is isolate from your friends. Something you would never do at league night. Go isolate from your friends. And then you need to do a mental trick. I don't care how long you've been playing disc golf. It's a tournament. It's different. Like, you got to do something different. It's a tournament. It's different. You got to do a mental trick in order to play. Then you do a mental trick. And then the book says, all right, I know you've been breathing your whole life, but you don't know how to breathe before tournaments. I'm going to show you how to breathe. It's a special breathing technique because you're at a tournament. Basically, this book did everything possible to make the tournament a bigger deal than it really is and remind you that you're not at league night. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. No, what you need to do is replicate league night. So I asked him, I said, so what do you do at league night before you tee off? And he said, well, I usually message my kids and make sure they're doing their homework. I said, okay, so when you hear the 2-minute warning, message your kids. Of course, that's what you should do. Do you normally chat with your friends at league night? Oh, yeah. Well, then when you hear the 2-minute warning, chat with the players on the card. Even if they're not your friends, they are now, or they can become your friends. Put yourself in, as much as possible, replicate what you do at league night. Don't do things differently at a tournament. I mean, there's certain rules you have to follow, obviously, like an etiquette. I mean, it's not the same, and you still know it's a tournament. But everything that you can control, make into league night. Don't make it into a tournament. That is the first step to putting yourself in the right mindset. If you play better at league night, some people play better at tournaments, but not one of them has ever asked me about their mental game for tournaments. They play better at tournaments. They don't ask how to help with that. So great, good for you. You play better at tournaments, keep being you. But that's not you. That's not me. That's not most of us. Most of us play better at league night or with friends than at tournaments. So replicate that. And the second thing is, there's a video up called Conquering Putting Nerves and Anxiety. Everything about that will apply to the rest of the game as well, but I won't spend 12 minutes talking about that. But it has to do with the illusion of control and how to let go of that one part that you're hanging on to that makes you stressed out. Conquering Putting Nerves and Anxiety is, I think, what it's called. Go check that out on my YouTube channel. And now everything's blurry. Why is everybody typing blurry? Oh, okay, that's better. How's the Jeep running? Why do you have to bring that up? The Jeep has COVID. Our Jeep is sick. It's running, but we're not even sure what we're gonna do because we're leaving the country, and our Jeep is it's kind of homeless at the moment.
No, it's just being taken care of.
It's being taken care of, but anytime a vehicle just sits for long enough, it's like it's asking to be Like, it's not good. So we're trying to actually, like, in the next couple of days, we're going to figure out a solution for the Jeep. The Jeep's amazing. We traveled the country in the Jeep for 2 years. Love the Jeep. What are some of the favorite Innova discs I've thrown? I mean, I still throw the Destroyer. Destroyer is still the gold standard for long-range drivers. And I throw a G-Star Destroyer for distance shots, and I throw a Calvin Heimberg Halo Destroyer for my discs, the drives where I need a little bit more stability. I have some Tour Series discs coming out that are high-speed drivers, which I will be adding, and which I will be throwing and replacing the Destroyers, but they're not ready yet. So until then, I'm throwing Destroyers. Favorite wooded course in North Carolina. My favorite course in North Carolina is Rennie Gold. Hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Love Rennie Gold. That course is so hard. The one time I played it in competition, it kicked the crap out of me. So I love it. But the variety of holes out there. Now, that's not a true wooded course because there are open holes out there as well. But that is the best course. Now, I haven't played Nevin, and I heard Nevin's fantastic. Like, I've heard nothing but great things about Nevin. So I love that. I love the country course. That's not a very hard course, but it's a great course. Swinging DBs is special because it's the first, I believe it's the first private course in North Carolina. Swinging DBs, very special place, especially because it's like, you guys might not know this, but North Carolina is basically the home of the private courses. As far as people on basically going, well, I got 12 acres, I'll put in 18 baskets. When there was 20 private courses in the world, I bet you 15 of the 20 were in North Carolina. The same way the first pay-to-play courses where people were buying land to put a course on, like, for whatever reason, that's Maine. All the courses up in Maine were pay-to-play courses. They were all business courses. And were great courses because of it. So, but swinging DBs kind of started a revolution in the sport, especially in North Carolina. What is my opinion about playing events on ball golf courses versus heavily wooded courses that are more shaped and skilled lines? My opinion is I don't generally like ball golf courses as much as wooded courses. There are places where there are no woods. There's parts of the country where you can't find the types of terrain to build the courses that I personally like the best. So you have to do the ball golf courses, and you got to do a bunch of manufactured OB, or else it's going to be super easy. And so I don't. So I personally much prefer the wooded courses. I just think the ball golf courses they're less interesting. You know, if I'm going to throw 18 hyzers during a round, it's just, I don't know. To me, that's not as much fun. There's no right or wrong answer there. Everyone likes different things. So, but personally, I prefer technical courses. I like hard wooded courses, like a course like Northwood Black, where it's a par 71, and if you shoot a 71, it's like 1010 rated. If you shoot par, like, that's the type of golf I like. A long par 70 wooded course where par is a great score. Like, that's golf to me. Is it true you're going to carry a backpack bag besides your cart to haul my ego in? So no, actually, I'm not an idiot. I'm going to carry my golf disc in my backpack bag and put my ego in the cart, like, because it's heavier. Duh. By the way, hold on. I want to address that though. I do not have a huge ego, with one exception: teaching disc golf. I do not have an ego about playing. Like, I'm going out and trying to win, but I'm extremely humble about my place in the sport, whether it's my historical place in the sport or playing with the modern players. I don't have an ego about things except for teaching. I am so confident in the way I teach. I've done it more than anybody. My ideas of how to teach, I've stood in front of thousands of players 8 feet in front of me and showed them this method of teaching and watched it work for them. And when it works for them, it's not even ego. It's like, yeah, this works better than anybody else. That's it. That's just a reality. But that also comes across arrogant, and I don't mean for it to be, but I don't know how to be humble. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, other people's teaching method works as good as mine. That also would be dishonest. But aside from that, I don't think I have an ego outside of teaching disc golf. Do I have an ego about anything else?
Nah.
Nah, not really.
Nope.
Not really. Just that.
And I'm with you 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. I do have an ego about one other thing. This book right here.
Well, that's not an ego either. It won prizes.
It won prizes. But this is a combination of Don Quixote, The Old Man and the Sea, and the Bible. That's how good this book is. So there, that's egotistical. I'm fine with it.
It says you got a huge ego when it comes to thinking every waitress loves you.
Oh, they do. Wait, what did they say? Wait, pull that up there. Hold on a second. You got to have an ego when it comes to thinking every waitress loves me. They all do. Absolutely. Not one second. Every time a waitress, we go to restaurants every night because we're touring. And every single time we go to the restaurant, like the waitress is flirting with me because they want me. It has nothing to do with that's good for tips. It has nothing to do with good customer service or just that they're nice. Every single one of them is flirting with me, and that's what I believe. And you cannot talk me out of it because that makes me happy to think that. It also makes me not feel 53. It makes me feel young. So do not contradict me. I will just dig my heels in and be like, no, she's interested in me. Like, that's why she was being so, that's why they were being so polite to me. That's what I truly believe.
All right, well, I lost the one that was asking, do you have any mint clones?
Oh, do I have any mint X clones? Well, then I can answer the question. The mint X clones. I do not have any mint X clones. I don't have anything. I don't, like, every single thing I own is in my hotel room right now, aside from our vehicles, which are out in the parking lot, and then merchandise for sale. No storage unit, no home base, no box of pictures of our kids. Like, every single thing we own is in our hotel room as we speak. And that's all I'm ever going to own.
Talk about class again.
About the classes? Oh, okay. Y'all want to hear about the classes, and I'll tell you about the teaching thing. And some of you heard this before, so I'll make it a little bit briefer so that that way I don't want to lose you people. Here, bathroom break if you heard this before. So I teach a 6-month online class, become a complete disc golfer. The next class starts in November. Sign up at scottstokely.net. You will absolutely 100% be far better at disc golf at the end of the class than you are at the beginning. That might be my ego talking, but when it comes to teaching disc golf, my ego is spot on correct, I promise. And when I tell you that every waitress is flirting with me, you take that one with a grain of salt. But the disc golf teaching, I'm pretty confident in. The 6-month class, it is not a bunch of videos or to watch or things to read, and then you're given tasks or drills to go throw. It's a complete interactive experience. I teach, whether it's live or you watch the recorded version. I give you things to do. You go out and do certain throws. Then you post those videos to the forum reviews. I have paid instructors, paid trainers in the classes, and myself that are in there giving you feedback on the forum reviews. Then you're going to make changes. Then you're going to post more videos, or you're going to shoot it back. It is not directional. It is a back and forth thing. This is why it works. And you're constantly going to have access to me. If you miss the live classes, post a question. I'll do the question and answer it. I'm in there constantly. This is my job. This is what I do. That's the 6-month class, right? We're going to cover everything from backhand sidearm putting to utility shots to wind play to strategy to building a bag to tournament preparation to how to play in the rain, like everything. Everything is in the class. So that's the 6-month class. Now, as far as the teaching, and I'll try to make this briefer because I went into depth earlier, but keep this one brief. if you want to be certified as a Stokely method teacher, because my method, it has nothing to do with the method of playing disc golf. I do not teach you to play disc golf to throw differently than any of the pros on tour mechanically. They throw right. The goal is to throw like them. We all agree on the right way to throw. That's not the method. The method is my process, my step-by-step method to get there. You all have probably noticed this, that when you go watch a video of a pro throwing and watch it in slow motion and try to emulate their throw, it doesn't work. I don't teach to do that because that is not a method that works. My method is a step-by-step process, but the goal is to end with you throwing correctly. Now, once you learn that method of teaching that you will learn having gone through the class, or if you had gone through the seminar, then if you want to be a certified Stokely method teacher, you'll take a short class. This will not be a big thing because you've already gone through the class of how to do it, but a short class on how to teach. You'll become a Stokely certified method teacher. Now, in a few days, I am launching discgolflessons.com. My intention is for this to be the go-to database of every disc golf teacher in the entire world, where anybody in the world that wants disc golf lessons is going to go to discgolflessons.com on their phone, their app, whatever, their website, their computer, and they're going to search for teachers in their town within a certain mile radius, right? I mean, this is not an original business model, but that's what they're going to do. When they search for those teachers, all the teachers in the area are going to pop up and they're going to choose which teacher to contact. It'll be based on reviews and based on price and availability and just everything, like any other business. You're a teacher, you put your information up. However, you are also going to be a Stokely certified teacher, which means anybody that has ever watched my video on serving the pizza, throwing a sidearm, generating snap, keeping the disc flat, all these things that they've watched and been like, oh, that works, nothing else worked. All of them are bought into my name and my method. You're a Stokely certified teacher. You're far more likely to get that student. And that's when you're on the website, I will be sending the students to you and you'll be certified to teach. And that's the process. So number one, sign up for a 6-month class. And then we'll go through the process to be certified. And there's a big industry in this, you know, like if you live in a small town in the middle of nowhere, yeah, you're not going to have, 30 students a month probably, right? But if you live anywhere where disc golf is popular, there's a huge market for teachers. And teachers, like any teaching, your hourly pay is going to be pretty darn good. Anytime you do skilled labor, skilled labor prices aren't based on working 40 hours a week. When you pay a plumber, you pay a lot of money per hour for a plumber because they only have so many billable hours in a week, right? Well, it's no different. You're going to charge real money for those hours that you work. So yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited to do this and to be training everyone, because that way everybody's going to throw well and the teachers are going to do well. Okay. The certification cost. Oh, just popped questions up. There's a certification cost extra. We have not determined the price of that. Yes, it's going to. No, it's not going to be some barrier or not. It's not going to be a lot of money. I want teachers everywhere. We haven't decided what that's going to be yet, but I promise at no point, like, you're not going to be like, wait, what the hell did I just get roped into? That's not the way I do things. Not a chance. Do I still talk to Billy Crump? No. What is my favorite genre of music? Punk. Yeah. Favorite band and musicians. Okay, so I'm old school punk rock. My favorite bands are basically Pinhead Circus, Fairlanes, Nobodies, Baldo Rex, Suicide Fan Club, Armchair Martian, Where's the Bishop? Basically a lot of local Colorado punk bands. The reason why is I was really, really, really into live shows. So if I couldn't see you live, it was really kind of hard to get into you. I still like a lot more bands than that for sure, but that's what I like. And then about 10 years ago, I discovered show tunes and Broadway musicals, and I became addicted, and I still am addicted to Broadway musicals. So anything from Hair or Hairspray or Book of Mormon or Hamilton, West Side Story, Les Mis, Oklahoma, old school, new school. Like, I love Broadway musicals, and believe me, as an old school punk, I did not want that to happen. I willed it to not happen. And basically, I'll tell you what happened real quick. Is I got dragged, kicking and screaming, to go see Hairspray, the musical in the theaters, the one with Nicky LeBlanc and John Travolta. And I was like, I'm not going to see a musical. Like, this is the stupidest thing about. Like, I mean, I was like, I think I was angry about having to go. And I remember watching it the whole time. I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, this is so good. Like, how could I have not watched these? I never watched a musical before in my life. And then next thing you know, I'm like watching the Tony Awards and all this stuff. And I'm like mesmerized at like by this whole genre. So, but I still like old school punk too, but that's about it. Just those two. Do I ever play basketball? Could I dunk? I could dunk when I was younger. I've aged out of dunking. I was never good at basketball. I'm not fast on my feet. I have fast twitch muscles in my arms, but
you're not a runner.
I'm not a runner. I just never got that gene where I could run. So I was never good. And at my height, 6'7", like that's tall, but at 6'7", you still got to have wheels. Like if you're 6'11", you can kind of get away with being slow and live off your height. If you're 6 foot even, you have to be fast. Like I'm kind of at that line, but 6'7", you still gotta be fast. I was never fast, so I never got good at basketball. I could dunk though, of course. When was the last time I played a glow round? Oh boy.
You haven't played since I've been around.
No, it's been years. I'm trying to think if I played it all in Colorado. It's been a long time. I can't recall the last time, so it's been many, many years. Gonna have to go do that again. Have you played regular golf? Are you any good? I.e. less than 90? No, I'm terrible. I've played a little bit. I mean, I probably played a dozen rounds, and I was definitely not breaking 100. I could hit the ball far. I could crack it 300 pretty easily, but I mean, I played baseball, like semi-pro baseball, so like I could definitely swing a club. Like I always thought that I could get pretty good at it if I played, but I was never going to be a professional. I started too late, and in my mind, like I just like that. I've already paid my dues in this one sport, so that's what I'm going to stick with. So golf's a beautiful game. I have nothing but respect for golf and the people that play it, but just it's not my thing.
You play putt-putt.
Oh, I play. Yeah, no, I played. Oh my God, I played virtual mini golf on the Oculus. Holy crap! If you haven't played the Oculus, the physics on it are so good. And actually, we're leaving the country. We have 2 Oculus we need to sell. How much did we pay for them? Like $300 a piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 2 Oculus we're looking to sell. If you're interested, message us. Oculus is cool. Like we're going to be like traveling the world with a backpack. There's just no room for it. Top 3 favorite movies. Oh, that's so easy. Why? Jesus, pitching softballs. Willy Wonka. Like obviously, that's everyone's like agrees that's the best movie ever made. Oh God, the original. Don't even get me started. Tim Burton is the Antichrist. Remaking. Why do you have to bring that up,
well,
dude?
You gotta delineate.
Tim Burton. No, you have to delineate. There was only one Willy Wonka. Tim Burton is the Antichrist. When he remade Willy Wonka, like part of me died inside, and I lost all faith in humanity that day. In fact, I've never been the same. The minute they remade Willy Wonka, oh my God, that was the worst day. Like you thought 9/11 was a bad day. They remade Willy Wonka. Yeah, December 7th, 1941. Nothing compared to the day when they remade Willy Wonka. The original Willy Wonka, and then I love Pulp Fiction, and I dig Forrest Gump. I can't help it. I know it's not the greatest movie ever made, but I could. That's the most rewatchable movie. Well, not the most rewatchable. Probably Princess Bride. Ooh, Princess. But then Princess Bride's close, and so is Army of Darkness. Favorite TV show of all time? It's okay. So, okay. Nobody's gonna understand this unless you're like exactly my age. But there has never and will never be a show that is what The Simpsons were during their first 6 or 7 seasons. And when you watch it now, it's just a silly cartoon. And when you watch the old episodes right now, you're like, that's funny, but you don't really get it. Like The Simpsons did to television what Nirvana did to hair bands. Like it just came around and said, oh, we're going to take this entire genre, this entire country, we're just going to kick it in its face. Because up until The Simpsons, every TV sitcom was the same. It was a couple sassy kids and a family where the husband and wife always got along at the end and everything was great. They were a completely functional family. And oh, it was just so lovely and heartwarming. And dad was a bit of a bumbler, but mom always had the answers. And everyone knew mom was smarter than dad. And it was just, oh God, in every episode they learned a lesson and they grew from it. And whatever the kid did, like if the kid was a real hard ass, every episode he showed his soft side at the end. And it was the most sanitized nonsense television ever. And The Simpsons came along and kicked it in its face. And if you were there for it, like you remember this, it was mind blowing what The Simpsons did. Nothing else like it. By the way, Fight Club, very close. Fight Club's on my top 10. I just saw that on the side. Why did I choose the Bergen K3 over K1? Feel or flight of the disc? I like the understable K3, although I will be releasing Tour Series in K1 at some point because they're stable. But I like the slow, flippy, understable Berg. I love that's my Berg. Bergs to me are flippy. Favorite cuisine, food or dessert? My favorite cuisine, yeah, that's easy. It's a brand of cuisine called Different. Every night something different. It's always something different. It's no chain restaurants like ever. Like I would rather pull my teeth out of my face than eat at chain restaurants. I still eat at a chain probably once a month because like when you're traveling, sometimes they're the only thing open. But no chain restaurants, locally owned, experiences over food quality. If there's something weird, I like crappy taco trucks and hole in the wall barbecue and then foreign food. But there's got to be no. Look, here's the rule. I don't like going to places where there's white people in there. If it's ethnic food, that is a bad sign. So we went to we're in Charlotte. We went to 2 soul food restaurants, right? We walked into this is when did we go to the one in Charlotte?
About a week ago.
We went, about a week ago. We walked into this soul food restaurant. Like half the customers were white, and we're like, oh shoot, this is not going to be good.
Well, there was 2 foods with people, and then when we got there, the clientele progressively got more white.
Progressively got more white. And we're in a soul food restaurant outside of Charlotte,
and we're like, oh, this is
not good. And the food was very wasn't it was bad. It was just it tasted like it wasn't soul food, right? It wasn't what it was supposed to be. In fact, this elderly black couple walked in, and they walked in. They looked at the food. They looked around at us and everybody else, and they just turned around and walked out the door. And actually, what's really funny was when they walked in, Adriana looks at me right as they're walking in. She goes, "Here's the litmus test. Let's see if they stay." Like, what do you mean? They're not going to leave. They're here. They walked in, looked around, and left. Bad sign. Well, was it just yesterday? Yeah, just yesterday. We went to a soul food place halfway between Durham and Raleigh. It's called Mama Something's.
No, it was called V's.
V's Southern Cooking Soul Food Restaurant. We're the only white people in the restaurant, and it was phenomenal. It was so good. She got the oxtails, I got the ribs. Right. So that's by the way, way longer answer than you probably expected. But that's the rule. If you go to a Mexican restaurant and there's white people there, that's Tex-Mex. That's not Mexican. If you go to a Korean restaurant and anybody speaks English in the restaurant, that's not Korean food. That's Korean American. So we seek out the real stuff if we can, even if it makes
Even if we don't even understand what we're
we don't even know what we're ordering sometimes. We just point at stuff on the menu. Here, I'll tell you a funny story. Remember the Korean restaurant? Yeah. We went to this one Korean restaurant where like nobody spoke English, but not only did they not speak English, the menu was in Korean with no English translations. And so the waitress didn't speak any English at all. Nobody spoke any English. The only person that spoke English was like the daughter of the owner. So they sent the daughter out, who's not a waitress, to take our order because she's the only one that can communicate with us. And we're like, yes, this is going to be fantastic. And we're going through and we're like ordering. Like, I'm like, I want this. It's like tapas, right? Where it's like you pay like $7 to $10 for a plate, but you have to get like 5 or 6 plates or 10 plates between the two of you. It's not cheap. But we're going through and I'm like, I want this and I want this and I want this. And every time I point at something, she goes, are you sure? Do you know what that is? And I'm like, don't care. I want that. No pictures, nothing. And she's like, all right. She goes, you know, that's what was one? She says that was the goat spinal cord. And she's like, that's goat spinal cord. Do you want goat spinal cord? Yes, I do. Of course I do. And then she goes, oh, and that's cold duck. It's like half cooked duck, but it's like cold. And we're like, yep. Anyways, that's okay. That's by the way longer answer than you would have expected, but that's what we like to eat. We don't even care if we don't like it. We'd rather do that than eat something we like. When does the best book come out? Oh, the book's out. You mean the best book? You mean this book? Scott Stokely Growing Up Disc Golf. It came out 2.5 years ago. And it's available at scottstokely.net. And the audiobook you can also buy there. And you can get, by the way, you can get signed copies of the book at scottstokely.net. Once these are gone, no signed copies will be available for the next several years because I'm not going to be in the country. Besides my book, what's another favorite book of yours? Life's Little Instruction Book. Yeah. So anything by Robert Heinlein it fairly aligns with the way I view life and everything. If y'all want a book, this is my go-to. I've read this book or listened to the audiobook. I'm not kidding, 30 times. I even got to speak on a podcast as an expert on this book. It's called The Moon is a Harsh Mistress by Robert Heinlein. It's an older sci-fi book, which is cool because old sci-fi books basically have no idea, like they were talking about things happening in 1980 that are like we're not even close to getting there yet, right? Like they get the science wrong on a lot of it. Moon is the Harsh Mistress is just the most brilliant book ever. Like and here's the coolest thing. You can listen to the audiobook on YouTube for free, and it is by far the best audiobook I've ever heard read. Like I think the person that read the book actually read the book like 10 times and understood the characters before reading the book. It's hard to explain why I say that until you actually hear it. It's a masterpiece. Moon is a Harsh Mistress by Robert Heinlein. And if you do read it, listen to it. Please message me and let me know what you think. Can't wait to have you down under, Scott. Can you give us your best Aussie accent? Oh, top of the morning to you. I like me Lucky Charms. Was that pretty good?
I think you're probably the worst person to do
accents
I've ever known.
Okay. Oh, let's do this one. Let's see. Orale, mate. Sub carnad. I don't know. I don't do accents. I'm terrible. Let's see. Oh, got a bit. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I didn't get that gene. Some people got that accent gene. I don't have it. And I'm not going to say put a shrimp on the Barbie. I've watched YouTube videos about when you go like things not to do in Australia. And they said you never ask to put a shrimp on the Barbie. Number one, because they're not shrimp, they're prawns. Right? It's called a Barbie, but they're prawns, not shrimp. And number two, y'all are so sick of hearing that if I say it, that y'all are going to hate me. So I won't say that.
So, but now that you're like officially a registered Texan, does that make you kind of like, you fit in Australia, right?
Because I'm a registered, wait, why would being a Texan make me fit in Australia?
Because cowboys, like Australia is basically like the Texan version of
the world.
The world, yeah.
So Australia is the Texas of the world. That's really bizarre. I've never thought of that because they have a desert, and everything there can kill you.
Well, but also the people. They're just like their own kind of rough kind of.
Oh no! I'm convinced, David, that Australian people are the toughest people on planet Earth. And sorry, I've told this story before, but this blew my mind when I saw this. Like, you cannot convince me that Australians are not the toughest people on Earth. When I saw this, I saw an actual, honest-to-God, real sign. It says it's at a beach, and the sign says, "No swimming, saltwater crocodiles. Please use so-and-so beach 1 kilometer away." There's saltwater crocodiles. And the sign's like, "Oh, yeah, just go 0.6 of a mile down there. You'll be fine." Like, there's no way the saltwater crocodiles don't have a feeding radius larger than 0.6 of a mile. You people are freaking insane. You aren't afraid of saltwater crocodiles. You are the toughest people on planet Earth. I cannot wait to hang out with you. But I won't go swimming with you. I don't trust any of you.
All right. Plug the discs.
Plug the discs? Let's see. Stokely Universe. Stokely Universe. Oops, wait, hold on. I'm not looking at it before I pull them up. Let's see if we can get this one right. Stokely Universe. Hey, that was close. These are all available at scottstokely.net. They're on Buzz ESPs. This is part of the collectible business. Will come out every month. If you want to start the Stokely Universe collection, which I think you should, because these are the coolest art ever. I don't get any credit for this. This is all done by Creative Rob out of Austin, Texas. He's the best artist we've ever seen. But a new disc will come out every month, which, by the way, you can also buy the full color jerseys at scottstokely.net. Yeah. And we have 2 discs available, collectible discs. We have the Latitude 64 Primatist. This is the first Latitude 64 disc. First run. No longer being produced. This disc is I think it's a must-have for your collection. This is not going to be the big dollar investment disc. We're selling them for $20. They're available. They're not like super duper rare, but if you're collecting discs, this is the first run of a disc from a massive disc company that no longer exists. So it's a cool collectible disc. There's just enough on the market that it's not going to be you're not going to put this into a safe and then sell them to put your kids through college someday. But it's a cool disc to have on your wall because it's a first run. And then we also have the Ching, which is the exact opposite. The Juju from Ching, which is a collectible disc. It is valuable. It's getting more valuable every day. I sell them for $50. I got a whole sleeve full of them for $50, but you can get them for between $100 and $250 on eBay. And I'm selling them for $50 because I don't have time to stop at post offices and sell them one at a time. So I am selling for less, and they are a decent investment. The company Ching, by the way, is not out of business. They're hibernating. Rumor has it that somebody picked up the molds and will be releasing them someday, but there's no timeline on it yet. But there will be a Ching resurrection. And by the way, all the bumps on top are thumbprints, different distances from the rim to throw. Although if you only get one, this is definitely a wall hanger. And by the way, if and when they do become re-released, this is the first run, the only ones in the fusion plastic. So they're still going to be, they'll probably be more valuable once the company comes back and they're being produced. Then it's the, they're not going to make more of the first runs. These are the first run Ching disc. It's the first Ching disc ever made, 2004. All right.
Did you plug sauce yet at all?
No.
Can you pull? Asking for you to
yeah. Can you pop it on the screen? Just from the site. Yeah, I will plug the sauce.
We'll start talking. I'll get this.
We'll start. Throw me a question though.
We're talking about the sauce.
About the sauce. Okay, so I got my face on barbecue sauce. the dumbest thing you ever heard in your entire life, and I couldn't miss the opportunity to do it just because it's so weird. But there's I got 4 flavors of barbecue sauce. It's called Stokely sauce, and I'll pull them on the screen. Those are the 4 bottles. The D is Texas smoky. The I is Carolina vinegar. The S is Kansas City sweet, and the C is California spicy. Those are the 4 bottles that are available. I am going to be, or I am selling them basically at cost because I kind of like overdid it and I bought a lot, and now I'm trying to basically make sure I just break even on them. So I think I'm selling all 4 bottles for $29.95. Once you pay shipping, they'll still cost almost $10 a bottle, but like gourmet barbecue sauce costs almost $10 a bottle. So they're really not that expensive if you want to buy all 4. But they're cool. And if you buy them, post pictures and reels on Instagram and Facebook, please, of you eating them and talking about how good they are. They are legit good. They're definitely like no high fructose corn syrup. They're all natural. I paid more, partially why they're expensive. Like I spent more than $1 a bottle extra just to not do high fructose corn syrup because that stuff is garbage. And I didn't want to sell anything that like I thought was harmful to people. Yeah. Now I'll be honest, full disclosure, I did talk to somebody about adding nicotine to every bottle because I thought if I could infuse it with nicotine, I could get people hooked on them, and then they would like eat my barbecue sauce for life. And they said no, that I couldn't do that. Some legal, I don't know. It doesn't matter. So I did try to do that. I'm not, completely pure of heart, but they are good though. Am I in the November series? Forum critiques go to you. If so, you're in. Yeah. So we're taking signups right now for the November series. The forum critiques go to me and the other trainers, but I'm in the room every single day. Like here's what I can tell you. Nothing is going to get a forum review that if I don't give a review, because the reason I have trainers is because like I can't physically do all the reviews. There's not enough hours in a day. And even if there was, you'd be waiting 2 days to get a forum review. I want reviews to come back like this. Post a forum review. Someone should be in there within a very short period of time to post a forum review. The trainers fully trained in my method will be given the forum reviews. What I can tell you, first off, that means the review might come from a trainer, not me. It also might come from me, but every single forum review that's given, everyone by the trainers gets read by me. So I will like those comments, which means, yep, that's spot on. I agree with it. Or I will jump in if it's something I disagree with. So even if it doesn't come from me, it'll be validated by me. I couldn't be happier with how the trainers are doing. They're absolutely fantastic. Of all the places I've traveled to in the world, what was your favorite in the USA? Or my favorite and my favorite USA? My favorite place to go was probably Japan. I loved Japan. I can't wait. I'm going to go to Japan next year. Japan's a very special place. I spent time off the coast of Sicily on this little tiny island called Lipari. The reason I liked it, by the way, by the time I'm done, y'all are going to think I hate white people because I'm about to. The reason I went to Lipari was I was told that Western tourists don't go there. Has nothing to do with not liking white people. It's just when I'm trying to experience other cultures, whether it be a restaurant or when I was on vacation, I wanted to be part of that culture, not a sanitized version that modified itself for this culture, right? So the island of Lipari, they said no Western tourists go there in the book I read. And so we spent 2 weeks on the island of Lipari and Volcano, and can't remember the name of the other island. There's 7 of the Aeolian islands. We went to 3 of them. That was probably the most unique place. I mean, people were walking down like people would go fishing and then walk down the middle of the town square with a wheelbarrow full of fish, yelling out, pesca, I think that's the word for fish. And then restaurant owners would run out and buy fish straight out of the wheelbarrow. That was the fish the restaurant had available for sale in their restaurant that night. People got around on donkeys. It was really, really neat. In the U.S., my favorite place, hands down by far, not even close, is the Green River in southern Utah. It's there's a 110-mile stretch. By the way, if you search for Scott Stokely Canyonlands National Park on my YouTube channel, just search for Scott Stokely Canyonlands National Park, Scott Stokely Canyonlands. I made an hour-long video about this trip because anybody can do it. It's a 110-mile stretch of the Green River. The second half of it is through Canyonlands National Park, but the first half is identical to Canyonlands National Park. It's just there's a park border, right? It's a 110-mile stretch of river. The only really way in or out of this river is right in the middle. You can drive down to Mineral Bottom. There's right at about the 55-mile mark. Other than that, there's no way to get to the side of the river. Basically, there's a couple like tricky Jeep roads that you'll a little bit, but basically there are 0 people for 110 miles minus Mineral Bottom in the middle. There's no people fishing on the side of the road. Well, you rent a canoe. They drop you off. They pick you up 5 days, 7 days later, 55 miles down the river. You don't see any other humans for like 5 to 7 days, with the exception of maybe like once a day you're cooking lunch. Someone in a canoe comes around the corner. They wave, you wave, and they're gone. That's the last people you see. There's no campgrounds. There's no signs of where to camp. There's sandbars. Or if the water's up higher and there's no sandbars, you just have to look for a place on the side of the canyon where there's like a little slot canyon that you could pull off the canoe and you can go camp there. You look for a piece of flat ground and you put your tent up. These slot canyons go back a long ways. There's no way into the canyons from up above. So if there's not a canoe parked in front of the canyon, which there never is, that entire canyon belongs to you. You can park your canoe. You could hike naked. Sorry for the visual picturing the 53-year-old guy naked, but you hike. You don't like it. Doesn't like no one's there. No one's at the top of the canyon. There's no access to the canyon. This entire it's like being on Mars, and it all belongs to you. It's the most amazing, mentally cool trip ever, and it's not expensive. The canoe rental, the outfitter drop you off, whatever, it's like $700 for 2 people for 6 days. $700 plus you bring your own food. It's nothing. Anyways, Scott Stokely Canyonlands. That's the video on my Facebook page. If you read it, the whole video I made an hour-long video about how to do this trip, what you need to bring, how to prepare it. It is the coolest trip ever. You have to do it. Long answer, I know. What's my favorite website? I can't share. This is the PG channel.
Roadside America.
Roadside America. There we go. That's my PG answer. Roadside America. Thank you.
One more.
What?
One more.
Because that's where all the ridiculous tourist traps are. So you can use the Roadside America app. When you drive to 2 places, you just say, I'm going to be starting here. I'm going to be ending here. What are all the stupid, ridiculously dumb things to see between these 2 places and you can choose a number, within 20 miles of the highway. And it'll be the world's largest ball of twine, the Greyhound Bus Museum, a giant statue of Don Juan, a dinosaur in someone's backyard, oh my God, the amount of different weird things we've done. It's all the stupid stuff. But if you go, I have a page called Scott Stokely Adventures. It's a Facebook page with no disc golf whatsoever. Scott Stokely Adventures. All my non-disc golf stuff is there. And we do every possible ridiculous thing we can. So we're going to go Roadside America. How about that? Any suggestions for developing a regular practice? In other words, what things should I regularly work on? Should I set up a practice schedule? You absolutely need to set up a practice schedule, because in order for practice to be effective, it needs to be intentional and deliberate. There's evidence to show this. You have to concentrate when you practice. You can't just go through the motions, but it has to be an intentional act. The start of an intentional act is to create a schedule and stick to it. If you miss a day, then you got a makeup day. You got to make up. You don't give up doing what you're doing. If it turns out to be too much, then you redo your schedule. You don't quit. But if you want to get good at something, you have to have a training routine. I could not swear by that any longer. As far as how to set it up, completely up to you. There's no right answer. Everybody has different amounts of available free time. They've got bodies of different ages. They can withstand a different amount of practice and training. You're 19 years old. You want to be on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. You don't have a job because you live in your parents' basement. Yeah, you better be out there 6 hours a day training. You have 2 jobs, 5 kids, a family, other hobbies. Well, then maybe it's once a week. You like, I'm going to do field work every Tuesday for an hour. That's still better than not doing it. But I can't tell you what, because everyone's life is different. The 6-month class schedule wise. Yeah. The way the 6-month class works is you're going to, the class is 2 classes per month and they're live. And the ones that are coming up are going to be scheduled to be live, I believe 6 p.m. Eastern time is when they're going to be scheduled to be. If you can be in there live, fantastic for the 2 classes. If you, the biggest reason is because if you have questions, you can ask the questions in real time. If you can't make the live classes, even though that's preferred, you can watch the recorded classes. The only difference between the recorded classes and the live classes is that when you post a question, the response won't be immediate. It might be a couple hours before you get a response. If I'm sleeping, it might be 8 hours, but a lot of times it'll be a few minutes. This is my job. Like, I'm in the class constantly, but I can't promise that it'll get a reply in 5 minutes. You know, I could be in the shower or playing a tournament, but you'll get a quick reply. But that's the only difference between the live class and and listening to it recorded is the real-time questions. But it's a 6-month class. So it's like, if you get an answer 6 hours later, it's a 6-month class. That's plenty of time to build on whatever you were asking. The big thing with the class, though, is when you're doing those, is you are strongly encouraged to post videos to get form reviews, where we give you reviews of your form specific to the things you're working on. You don't just throw and we go, oh, turn your hips, turn your foot, lean this way. Like, that's not what the method is. The method is a process, step by step. Do this first, work on this one thing, and then we add the next layer, then we add the next layer, then we add the next layer. It's an unlimited number of form reviews for 6 months. There's no cap on how many times you post videos. It has to end with you getting this right. Most people are going to pick it up way quicker than 6 months, but the 6 months is to make sure that nobody leaves not having got it. That's the way it works. You're 76. Can you benefit from a class? You 100% can benefit from my class. One of the things that will probably benefit you the most is that everything I teach, correct form also correlates with the lowest stress on your body. I'll just do this. I'll give you one example of this, but it's relevant. And if you're, honestly, like if you're 20, I'm not really having this conversation with you. Be 20, you can do anything to your body and your body bounces right back, right? You're older, that's not the case. Now, let me start by saying you will play better. Good form will make you throw farther. It'll make you score better. That is definitely going to be the case. But a secondary benefit when you're older is how you can avoid injury and do it something sustainable. So I'll give you an example. Where does your wrist go relative to your forearm? Well, your wrist is always going to be in its natural resting position relative to your forearm, the place where it most naturally wants to move. Now, when you change the angle of the disc, you're not going to do it with your wrist, because you can tilt your wrist up here and the wrist goes back and forth. You can tilt it down this way and it goes back and forth. But in either case, you're throwing with your wrist bent, not in its natural, most fluidly moving position. All you got to do is do that, go back and forth, and you can feel it impinging and grinding. Like, if you do that, you are going to hurt yourself. Not immediately, but you will. It's going to mess you up. So that's the way I teach. That's the way your wrist moves in its most natural motion. The elbow, your shoulders, your hips, your knees, your ankles, your back, everything moves in the way your body most naturally wants to move, which means it is the lowest impact possible. Now, you're still playing sports. You're still doing something athletic. It doesn't mean you can't get sore. It doesn't mean that if you slip, you can't get injured, right? I mean, it's sports. You can get injured playing sports, but you are not going to get injured from the technique. Now, here's what's cool. This is the neatest thing. People are not taking the class generally because they want to learn how to not get injured. They're taking the class because they want to throw farther. They want to hit their lines. They want to be more consistent. They want to score better. Everything I teach is designed to throw farther, throw more accurately, and score better. It's a complete coincidence that the correct way to play the best possible also happens to be the lowest impact on the body. I grew up in the 70s. I would not be a soft teacher. Like, I would not be a modern coach in these ways. Like if the best way to throw farther meant doing something that would hurt your body, I would have no problem teaching the way to throw farther. And I would have no problem saying to everybody, look, to throw far, it's going to hurt. Suck it up. You're playing sports. You want to get good at something, it's going to hurt. Deal with it. I would have no problem being honest and telling people that. Now, I don't have to, because it turns out that the correct way to throw farther is exactly the lowest impact on your body, because the way to throw the farthest is to have every single moving part of your body moving the way it naturally wants to move. Every muscle is flexing in the direction it most naturally wants to flex. Your joints are moving in the direction that they're set up to move. That is how you throw farthest. So it turns out that the lowest impact way of throwing on your body correlates with how to throw the farthest. It's the neatest thing, because if it wasn't that way, it would be a bit of a quandary. But like I said, I would teach how to play best. You know, hey, you play basketball, sometimes you get hurt. You play football, sometimes you get hurt. There's sometimes sports hurt. You do jiu-jitsu, sometimes you're going to get hurt. Take up boxing, sometimes you get hurt. I would have no problem saying you're going to get hurt the way I teach, but you'll play better. It just happens that it's not the case. The correct way to throw the best also is the lowest impact on your body. So yes, you're 76, you're going to learn how to throw farther, you're going to learn how to throw better, but you're also going to learn how to move your body in a way that is the lowest impact on your body possible, so you can continue playing for as long as you got. I'm very proud of this. I mean, someone was joking earlier about me having an ego. I have an ego about how I teach disc golf. The way I teach it is right. Like, it is in every measurable way. This is the thing. Like, I am proud of this, and I am confident. When do I leave the country? In exactly 2 weeks from right about now, actually. Like, in 2 weeks, exactly 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be on a plane. Oh my God, you guys want to hear the most ridiculous thing? Oh God, so we got to go get 7 shots. Yeah, 7 vaccines. Okay, don't start with the whole vaccine thing. We're going out of the country. Here's the thing that blows my mind. You know what the vaccines are for? Typhoid fever, yellow fever, malaria, like encephalitis, like, but some of these things, like that's what they got when they built the Panama Canal. Like, it's the strangest thing, because like, even if I knew that these things exist, like we wiped out smallpox with vaccines, right? That's awesome. That's the only one we truly wiped out. Like, so I know that the rest of these things still exist, but in my mind, they didn't really exist. They were something you read about in history books, like yellow fever. Like, what are you talking about, yellow fever? That's what people, 1,000 people died building the Panama Canal from yellow fever. Like, that's something that happened way back then. It's like, no, that still happens. You go over to Southeast Asia, if the wrong mosquito bites you, you die. Like, that's a trip, right? I mean, fortunately, we're not going to die. That's what the vaccines do. They're very good at vaccines. Vaccines are great. It's just, I got to get like 7 shots, and I hate needles. They're going to give me like 7 shots. Jesus Christ, we're doing 7 shots? And they don't put them together, do they?
Well, two of them are together.
Two of them are together. Oh God, I don't want to think about it. Where are they going to stick? I don't even have 7 pieces of fat on my body.
That's a good point.
It's going to be arm, ass cheek, thigh.
Yeah, probably.
Oh God! And then shingles is
no,
like
they can do 2 on your arm, so they can
upper
put,
arm
like,
or
on the
lower
upper
arm.
arm.
Oh my God!
Lower bicep.
Look, I'm not complaining because I mean, obviously, I'm so lucky to be doing this, but I'm just so freaked out by this. I don't want 7 shots. And they say that you get a fever and you get cold sweats and stuff from the shingles vaccine, which, by the way, way better than getting shingles. Duh.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm being a crybaby. Everybody else is like they're not. There's no one has any sympathy for me because like they're like, yeah, we would trade. Let's see. What other hobbies do you enjoy besides disc golf? Let's see. Is this a PG channel?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we'll say scuba diving. We're going to be scuba diving the Great Barrier Reef in 2 weeks and 4 days. Probably like 4 days after we get to Australia, we're going to be at the Great Barrier Reef diving. I love scuba diving. Backcountry. Like if I wasn't teaching disc golf classes, if this wasn't what I was doing, like I win the lottery, I could be anywhere else in the world right now. I would be like getting ready to put a backpack on and head to Patagonia and just disappear in the mountains for months. Like that's my happy spot. It's not resorts. It's not, it's out in the wilderness. That includes deserts. I love being in the backcountry of deserts. We went to last time we were in Death Valley, we went to a place that was 5 hours, a 5-hour drive to the nearest paved road. And that paved road is several hours from the nearest person. So we were like 6 or 7 hours from the nearest humans. Aside from the occasional person that was back there, it was unbelievable. That's my happy place. Will the telethons continue the world tour? Yes. Are you kidding me? I love these. I'm having so much fun chatting with everybody. I'm going to continue to do these. I'm probably going to switch from Fridays to a different night because I'll be playing tournaments on the weekends. And on some of these countries, I would have to do this at like 6 a.m. or something like that.
2 in the morning.
Or 2 a.m. or something like that. So I'll probably switch these to Wednesday nights, but I'm absolutely going to keep doing these. I'm having so much fun with everybody. By the way, my connection to doing this, like I sell a few things, but compared to like how much I make doing a 2-hour seminar or a 2-hour clinic, I make far more money doing 2 hours of teaching disc golf than I do these. I do these because they're fun, but I'm also going to promote my stuff while I'm doing it. What am I going to be for Halloween? We're going to be in Australia, right?
You're going to be
shark food.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like I'm going to be chum. That's good. I'm going to be. You're going to be chum too, huh?
No, I'm going to be Sheila.
You're going to be a Sheila. You're not Sheila. You're a Sheila.
Well, you can call it whatever you want.
It's not the same. You're a Sheila, and you're going to be chum.
I can change my name to Sheila. I can identify as Sheila if I want to.
You could do that. I'm going to be a dartboard for a box jellyfish. God, that just sounds so scary. Everything in Australia can kill you. That's why they're so tough down there.
I can't wait. It's so exciting.
I'm so excited too, but everything in Australia can kill you. But I probably won't dress up for Halloween because we're going to be in Australia and diving somewhere. And plus, we're not going to have anything. We're going to have like backpacks. Did I play Rennie Gold Rise in Charlotte? I did not. I love Rennie Gold. It's my favorite course in the state, but I didn't play it. So, yeah, I'm not.
Did the picture that you posted earlier, was that at Renaissance? Where was that picture? You
posted a picture of Rennie, like a picture of hole one.
No, Rennie's on the thumbnail for this.
Yeah, and then I didn't post anything else.
Picture. What's that?
Oh, that is Rennie Gold. Yeah, I did. Okay. I did post a picture of Renaissance. So I went out there to shoot a video. I didn't actually play the course. It's so funny, but I mean, I'm not complaining, y'all. I know my life's really good, but I don't have 2 hours free time to play around in disc golf. I haven't for like 3 years, and that's not an exaggeration.
Practices.
Yep. Hardest course I've played. The hardest course I've played is I thought that Butler was really hard. I think the hardest course I played, because physically it's like, what's hard? Like a really tight wooded course, it's a tight wooded course, but everyone has to play the same course. I mean, Northwood Black is hard. Um, I probably like score wise, Eagles Crossing is probably going to be the hardest scoring course I've ever played. On the hardest gold shots, like that course is ridiculous. Like par is probably 1,030 rated, so that's probably technically the hardest. But I'll tell you what the mentally hardest course I've ever played is probably Eureka. The Eureka course at the Leadstone. And the reason why is that it's a massive, like one of those massive out of bounds courses. But what makes Eureka hard is that there's a number of holes out there that you can't just play for par. Like a lot of those courses with a lot of out of bounds, you're like, you go out of bounds because you're like, I'm going to be aggressive and try to birdie. But you know, if you're good, you could basically say, well, I'll just take the conservative. I'll just pitch it to the fairway, and then I'll pitch it to the fairway. And I'll jump punt under the basket, and then I'll take my par. That's not the way Eureka is. Eureka, you have to actually earn your pars, and you could be playing for par and still bogey some of these holes, and it's freaking annoying, like in a really good way, but it's so mentally stressful. I mean, that first hole over the water, like we have a headwind, and I'm like, I might not cross the water. Not that I don't have the power to cross the water, but there was such a headwind, and it was headwind right to left. If I throw a backhand, which I have a little bit more power, if I don't turn it over, forget it. If I don't turn it over, I'm definitely in the water. So I got to throw a sidearm into like a 20-mile-an-hour headwind. I got to throw a sidearm like 400 feet or 375, which I can throw 375 into a 20-mile-an-hour headwind with the sidearm, but not much farther in a 20-mile-an-hour headwind. And so, like, yeah, then you get to the next hole, and there's OB right and OB left. And if you land too short, your second shot's really hard. You're going to bogey. Like, yeah, that course is just the most mentally tough course. Oh, can you grab the, I will probably log off in a few, but can you grab my power cord? What's the next question? Are there any places or animals you particularly want to see when you are in Australia besides snakes? Well, they will come to you. Oh, don't tell me that. No, actually, I like snakes. Except in Australia, like 7 of the 10 most venomous snakes in the world are all in Australia. I mean, the Great Barrier Reef. Like, I want to dive out. If I want to see an animal I want to see in Australia, I would love to see a great white shark. And it will scare the hell out of me, but I mean, that would be an experience to actually be in the water and see a great white. So if given the choice, I choose not to see it, but if I get to see one, I'll be glad I did. I cannot wait to go to Tasmania, and I'm going to find a Tasmanian tiger. I've been told, I forget the actual name for him. It's a, oh God, I feel terrible now. It's such a common name. Anyways, oh, and by the way, yes, I want to see kangaroos and koala bears. Of course, obviously, like I heard kangaroos are not, like, they're kind of normal there, but the first time we see a kangaroo, I'm going to lose my mind. It's going to be so cool. And that's probably it. Places I want to see, just everywhere, just as many places as we can get to in 6 weeks.
Right. Speed it up with your answers so we can get through. We've got about 20 questions.
Okay, we got more questions. I'm going to give shorter answers so we can get through all of them. And then after like 10 questions, I'll pitch the class one last time. Hey, you guys, by the way, real quick, there's 54 of you on here. If every single one of you posted to your Facebook page, hey, Scott Stokely's offering a 6-month online class. I've taken it, or I've done his seminar, or I'm in his class right now, and I heard it's really good. Like, that would mean the world to me. I would say that's probably the coolest thing you could do if you want to support what I do. So just post.
And also tell people about this live stream.
Tell people about the live stream, but tell people about the class. What's the optimal amount of time when dunking an Oreo in a glass of milk? I hate Oreos. Like, I love the taste of Oreos, but Nestle is the Antichrist. And I don't mean like the way Tim Burton is the Antichrist. They're nowhere near as bad as Tim Burton. Oh my God. Now you got me going again. He remade Willy Wonka. How do you remake Willy Wonka? Tim Burton.
Out of Oreos?
Oh, out of Oreos? Don't joke about it. There's nothing funny about remaking Willy Wonka. Don't make light of it. No, I'm just being trendy, like hating Nestle. It's easy to hate Nestle. They are the worst company in the world. Like they are probably the world's worst corporation as far as doing evil things in the world. They're pretty easy to hate, but they make good cookies though. So what do you do? 60%. How about that?
Except for Oreos, they have that mouth feel. I don't like it.
Yeah. What feel?
The
soft.
the cream. It's not a pleasant.
It's not pleasant. You know? No, you don't like Oreos though.
No.
Matt's disc golf journey. Rum ham or milk steak? I've never heard of either of those. What do you know what rum ham is or what milk steak is?
I'm gonna go with rum ham.
Rum ham? Well, I don't drink, so I'm gonna go with milk steak. It sounds healthier, but it's like a Kurt Angle thing. My favorite disc of all time. I mean, it's hard to say, but I would probably have to say the like as far as golf discs, it's probably the Berg. Even though I got recency bias, the Berg is great. What is my favorite disc golf song? John J. Panzer. I don't know, John J. Panzer. I would say that the greatest disc golf song in history probably hasn't been released yet, but will be soon, and really soon, because I don't think the best disc golf song has come out yet. I think it's probably coming out really soon. Wouldn't you say so, John J. Panzer? Would playing a disc golf course with just an approach putter disc be good for improving your game? You know, that's the general consensus people say, but I don't know about that. So the only reason why throwing putters and approaches it can benefit your game. There's just one reason for it. Is that if you learn to throw discs that fly straight and you just throw discs that fly straight, then you are forced to manipulate the angle on the disc. You're not just trusting the disc to turn right or turn left. There's a benefit to that. Because when you throw, you want discs that fly straight, turn left and turn right, but you also need to throw those discs at different angles and then throw sidearms and reverse a spin at different angles with discs that go left, right, and straight in order to get all the flight paths you need. If you just count on the disc, you are not utilizing one of the skills that you're forced to learn with straight flying discs. That's the benefit to throwing those discs. But if you never go that route, I don't think it hurts you to just throw the disc in your bag either. I really don't. Plenty of people disagree with that, and maybe they're right, but I don't. I think it's maybe overrated. Am I familiar with the Berg Nerd Gang? Go play videos on YouTube. Are big promoters of Castoplast discs. There is even one episode Nico starred in and accepted a challenge. Do we listen to the Berg Nerd? No, but I'll look it up though. Appreciate it. Message me a link in social media. My mother's still around. No, my mom died 4 years ago. She made it to 83, which is pretty old. Do I enjoy playing disc golf in the winter snow? Well, okay, I got two answers for you. The first answer is yes, because that will endear me to everybody that I love disc golf so much that I still love even playing in the winter and the snow. So that's the marketing and branding part of me that says yes. Now the honest part of me is no, it's cold. I'm old. I'm actually going south of the equator this winter and probably every winter the rest of my life to avoid the cold, except for maybe some snowboarding trips. I still want to snowboard. But other than my snowboarding trips, I don't want to be any place cold ever again. I've just gotten old. For that keynote speech, have you considered throwing some merch into the crowd? I have not considered that. By the way, I'm doing the keynote speech at the Amateur National Championships. No, I have not thought about throwing merch into the crowd, but I have been rehearsing my speech, and I think it's pretty good. But I'm not sure. I'm really nervous. I'm actually nervous to get up there in front of 1,500 people and talk. Like, I'm actually going to take notes with me, and I never take notes because I'm always totally comfortable that I won't forget anything, and I can do an hour, like an hour's. Give me an hour on a topic, and I can off the top of my head knock out an hour that actually comes across pretty cohesive. But I'm so afraid of like losing my place in front of all these people that I'm going to bring notes with me. Probably won't need them, but I'll have them. Like that's my safety blanket. Scott, you're the man. What is your advice on a new flicker learning tight woodsy holes? It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if it's tight woodsy holes or open holes. It doesn't matter if you're new or you've been playing for a while. There's correct mechanics. Period. Watch my video on the 3 tips for the sidearm. Watch my video on the 2 different backswings. Watch my video on removing sidearm wobble. Watch my video on removing the pizza. Like you'll get all the like most of the information there, but also take my 6-month class. Like that's like, I'm not trying to, well, you guys know, I don't just sit here just trying to like look for segues to pitch my stuff, but my best advice for being a new flicker learning the holes is to learn how to throw correctly. And my 6-month online class available at scottstokely.net is the most effective way of learning how to disc golf. Well, I say most effective way, like doing seminars with me in person is also really good. You get when you do it when you're with me for 10 hours in person, you'll get more in 10 hours than you do 10 hours online because you're in person. But the online class lasts 6 months, so we get into a lot more stuff and we get a lot deeper, and you still learn everything. It's just spaced out over a larger period of time, but then there's more information. Like if you had to do one or the other, I would all day say the 6-month class. Like there's more. We cover everything. Like there's nothing left out. So just correct mechanics. It doesn't matter where you are. Correct mechanics means better shots. You just saw this video about the Josh Anthon story. Your interview with him was in the video. I had no idea about the story. Was it hard to interview him about his tattoo and the night that sent him to prison? No, it wasn't hard to talk to him at all. I was just talking to another person with a different life experience than mine. This is like gonna upset people, but Josh Anthon's a good guy, and you might have different political views than him. You might have different ideas than him. Like he's not a bad person. He doesn't do bad things to people in the world. And don't even start with like he did this thing. Like there's more to this story than y'all know about. And he paid his dues for it. But all I can say is there's more to the story than you know about that I'm aware of that he can't share. Well, his inner circle knows, and I'm aware of it. None of us are as evolved today as we will be in 5 years or 10 years, hopefully, because we're all evolving as people. When you grow up in the hood, when you grow up in a tough background, you're starting from a place that I didn't start from. So I will never judge someone that starts in a difficult place because, they're not as evolved as I think they should be. I'm morally superior to them. Or I'm not saying anyone here is saying that, but that's kind of the take sometimes. Not saying you're saying that, by the way, Nate. I like the question. It's a great question. But a lot of the take is like, look at this person that isn't at this level that we think we are. And it's like, no, we're all evolving and we're all different paths on the journey. Josh Anthon is a good partner. He's a good dad. He treats his friends well. There's more to a person than an incident. And talking to him about it, I had no problem whatsoever. He's a human. Didn't bother me one bit. In fact, I enjoyed the conversation with him. And I'm glad it's the end of the live stream, because if some of you are mad about that, then I'll be clicking off before I hear you upset with it. There's more to the story. People are more than there's more to the story. That's all I can say. If you all knew the story, you would understand. But ever tried disc dying? Yeah, I tried it. It's freaking hard. I tried it and I gave up on it because I was just wasting discs and they all came out awful. And I have no idea how people did a good job with it. It's super impressive. Good disc dyes is like an amazing art. I've tried it. I did shaving cream and dyes, and I followed the directions, and like they just look terrible.
Speaking of shaving cream, did you know that Barbasol is sponsoring the championship? Did you see that?
No, Barbasol sponsoring the championship. Really?
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. So we actually have a mainstream sponsor?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's because of the dyeing business.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's actually cool. Is the book available on Audible or such? If not, you should record. Oh, yeah. Go to scottstokely.net. You can find the link to download it on Audible. And I did record the audiobook. That is me reading the book. It was really hard. One thing I learned is that, well, if you listen to the book, you're going to go, holy cow, this guy's really good at reading books. Like, wow, he's like an expert, or like, not maybe an expert, but he's very good. I know I'm not. I'm terrible. I spent 2 weeks recording this book. We'd spend 3 hours doing 10 pages of the book, because that's how long it took for me to read a paragraph and then not make any mistakes in pronunciation, or just like reading 2 words out of order, or saying or doing something like that. But not only that, is that you need to enunciate and emphasize every single thing. I needed to make sure that sentence is with sarcasm. And if this was something that was funny, I had to have the comedic timing down. It's so hard to do. So I spent like several hours to do just 10 pages of this book, because I'm not good at it. And then when I finished the audiobook, here's the best part of all. I finished it and I'm like, oh, thank God I'm done. When's it going to be ready? And the audio engineer said, oh, it's going to be a few months. I'm like, what? No, we want to put this out tomorrow. I'm done. He's like, no. It's going to take a few months to make you sound good. By the way, it was Will McCaskill. And I'm just drawing a blank on everything. Will McCaskill and we were in the studio of
Last Cash
Podcast. Marcus's house. Sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Like, I'm just brain farting. He said it's going to take several months to do it. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, we need several months to make it sound good. So as much time as it took me to try to read just that little bit each day, it then took several months of audio engineering and editing and post-production to make it sound good. And like, he spaced the words together, and he got rid of all the breath noises and everything. And so when it's done, you listen to it, you're going to be like, oh my God, you did a great job reading the book. No, I didn't. I had a great audio engineer that made me look good. But the end result is it's good. Just I want to make sure nobody gives me the credit for it, because it wasn't me. It was Will. What do I think about the Pro Pull disc trainer? I am not for or against it. I don't have anything negative to say about it. I think that my belief is that the most effective way of learning how to disc golf is, number one, throwing while developing correct mechanics. That's number one. And number two is, if you want to go higher level than just throwing, is develop a body that is strong. It's muscular. It has muscle. It's lean. It's flexible. It has good joint mobility, and you have good balance. Like, basically, you want this machine to work efficiently. Proper mechanics, efficient machine, that to me trumps everything. Everything else, I'm not saying they're not helpful or a good idea. Not for a second am I pooping on anyone else's ideas or inventions. My philosophy says to do those two things. If you try the Pro Pull and you feel like it's helping you, then it's helping you. Then it's fantastic. You should use it. I'm not anti. But I'm just not at the moment endorsing any of those. The only thing I'm going to endorse is I will be releasing soon an exercise device to increase the grip strength, because grip strength isn't something you typically do in a gym. So it is something outside of that. It's important. Grip strength, you want to have a good and firm grip. What's the best disc to learn sidearm? There is no best disc to learn sidearm. Just everything. Every disc in your bag is a backhand disc and a sidearm disc. If you have correct mechanics, that's how you learn sidearm, by developing the correct mechanics. Disc is not relevant. In fact, the easiest discs to throw sidearm, which is a very overstable disc, or a disc with a high fade, because when it wobbles, it'll fade. The reason people use those is it compensates for lack of good technique. A high fade disc if you're right-handed, throwing sidearm always ends to the right. No matter what you do, it still ends its flight going to the right. It can mask bad technique. So even though it's the right choice, because you can predict what it's going to do without a high level of skill, even though that's the case, it simultaneously is not forcing you to learn better technique by penalizing your bad technique. So the discs that you would choose to throw in a tournament are the opposite of the discs. Like the discs you would throw in a tournament are not the same discs that you would throw when trying to learn the sidearm. So, but it's really just mechanics. Once you have good mechanics, you can throw anything. And you can throw it like that. Think about the way I teach sidearm. Like if you do take my class, I know you asked the question before. If you do take the class, is that you will have a sidearm extremely fast. It is not something that takes 6 months to learn. Like it'll click for you almost immediately. We have one step with the sidearm. You can do this one thing. You have your throw down, but you're not generating the power. We come back 1 week later. We add the steps to generate the power. Boom, got your sidearm. Beaded or no? I throw a beadless putter on short putts and a beaded putter on long putts. So both. How about that for avoiding the question? Okay, if you're trying to go pro, what's the best thing to focus on? Distance, accuracy, consistent putting, etc. Okay, you need to be okay, sounds like I'm pitching my class, become a complete disc golfer. But you need to be a complete disc golfer. You need to have all the shots. The thing you focus on more than anything is focus on your area that you're weakest. If you're good at something, you work really hard and put a lot of time to get a little bit better. If you focus on the things that you're bad at or that you're weakest at, that same amount of time, you'll see much larger gains. So the amount of effort it takes to shave a stroke off your game, focusing on what you're best at, that same amount of time might shave 4 strokes off your game because you got better at what you're weakest at. If you don't have a weak part of your game, you're going to be a damn good player. If you have great parts of your game and weak parts of your game, you're kind of stuck in this zone where like you can play well depending on the course, but then you get to just some holes that are bad for you, or you get stuck in situations you can't deal with. Like ultimately you got to be a complete player. You got to have all the shots. And by don't look at the pro tour and look at the exceptions. Like, well, look at that player. That player is really good and they don't have that one shot. That's like looking at your 92-year-old grandma who smokes 2 packs a day and say, well, smoking's not bad for you. My grandma lived to 92 smoking 2 packs a day. You can't look at outliers to make smart decisions, right? You got to look at the masses, like what happens, okay, if you smoke, you're more likely to die young. That's normal. Well, if you have a complete game, you are far more likely to be successful than a player that doesn't. So focus on all the shots with the emphasis on the weakest part. Ever heard of the song Hobo Humping Slowbo Babe? That's some deep 80s MTV genre. No, I haven't. But I'll throw it out at you. I'll go look that up and you can go look up Dog Police. That's a stupid song. Not sure if you already answered. It's my favorite course in the Northeast and in the country. My favorite course in the country, my favorite course is always going to be Oak Grove Park, the world's first course. That's my home course, Pasadena, California. It's a very dated course. It's my favorite because it's the first. It's where I grew up. Eagles Crossing is my favorite course in the country as far as like this is a great disc golf course. That's the one we're going to do the big gigantic money skins at next week. You can go to Disc Golf Final Four to wager on who you think is going to win. In the Northeast, it's Maple Hill. Maple Hill is a masterpiece. The only thing holding Maple Hill back from being the greatest course in the world is it's a par 60, and I personally think courses need to be harder. I mean, they need to be like par 66, 68. It's just a little bit too, and it's not easy by any stretch. Every single hole in that course is a masterpiece of a hole, but I just personally don't want to play 12 par 3s and 6 par 4s. I want to play more than that. Like I want to play par 4s and par 5s. But Maple Hill's probably my second favorite course in the country, even though it's a par 60, because the holes are that good. How soon do you have to order the book to get it signed? If you order the book now, there are signed copies of the book in the warehouse. They will sell out. How many did I sign? 30, 40?
40.
I signed like 40 of them. That's all we had. We're ordering new books, but I'm gone. So if you want to, oh, hi, by the way. If you want to get a signed book, you kind of need to buy one now. I mean, not now, meaning today, but ASAP.
When they're out, they're out.
When they're out, they're out. And I won't be around for a couple years. Can I pronounce Nicolas Antilles' name correctly? That I don't know. Nicolas Antilles. But that doesn't mean it's right. That's how I would pronounce it. It's really tough because all the European players, like the Scandinavian players, they're so polite. They often don't correct you on the pronunciation. Like if you get if you call them Nicholas, like he's probably not going to correct you because they're nice. But then you don't learn how to pronounce it correctly, and then half the people are calling him Nicholas because they called him Nicholas to his face and he didn't correct them. So I think it's Nicolas Antilles, but I could easily be wrong because he didn't correct me. Can I plug the sauces real quick so the hubby can hear about them or see them? Yeah, these are the greatest barbecue sauces ever made. So much better than Sweet Baby Ray or Famous Dave or Dr. Heinz. Was it Dr. Heinz?
Is it Dr.?
I have no idea if it's Dr. Heinz, but that sounded better than Mr. Heinz.
Sure.
So we'll go with Dr. Heinz.
Dr. Kellogg's was a doctor.
Dr. Kellogg's was a doctor. Oh my God, that guy was a psychopath. Yeah.
Made sauce,
You ever want to, hey, anyone want to go down the rabbit hole when you're done with this podcast? Go do research on Dr. Kellogg, the guy that invented the cereal. Just Google it. Enjoy. By the way, graham crackers were invented to cure alcoholism. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah, Dr. Graham invented the graham cracker as a cure for alcoholism. How about that? Oh, and we didn't plug the sauce, though. Did we? Oh, yeah, the sauce. Yes, ScottStokely.net. I have 4 flavors of sauce. I got California spicy, Carolina vinegar, Texas smoky, and Kansas City sweet. They're absolutely amazing. I love them. They're really good. No high fructose corn syrup. They're delicious. The only problem is, and I kind of dug myself a hole when I bought them, is they're not cheap. I got to sell them for $30 to break even, and you're going to spend another $10 on shipping.
You tell them we started buying barbecue and bringing it back to the room so we can eat the sauce instead of what's
we started bringing the barbecue sauce back to the room. We would eat my sauce instead of the rest. We'd get food and not barbecue, and then we would eat like our sauce. But it's by the time you pay for shipping, you're going to pay $10 a bottle if you buy 4 bottles. That is the price of gourmet sauce, but not everybody wants to spend, to buy 4 bottles of gourmet sauce. You will like them. It's like, I'm a barbecue connoisseur. I eat barbecue, hole in the wall barbecue all over the country, have for years. This sauce is legit good. It's very good sauce. It's just not cheap. Do I have a Yiken Ligma for sale? I do not. I'm not sure if we have any in the warehouse.
The warehouse finds stuff all the
time.
The warehouse
just kind of like
it's a treasure trove.
It's a treasure. Let's put it this way. Like this whole thing, you guys might not know this, but y'all are my simulation. Like this is all part of my simulation. And so like if I think about it real hard, I could will a Yiken Ligma into existence in the warehouse and we'll just find one. Yiken Ox Spring, or that. If the discard is about your life, now tell us when you ran into R2-D2 getting humped by another R2-D2. I need to know. Make this connection.
These guys.
Oh, is that what these are? The R2-D2?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Oh, the R2-D2 being humped by another R2. Wow. I thought they were cute little fuzzy two-headed teddy bears. I didn't know that it was R2-D2 getting humped by R2-D2. I'll give you the connection. So these guys and these guys, one of the things you're going to notice about them. So about 8 years ago, I had a small period of my life when I had a problem with substance abuse. It was not a long period, but it was a very, very, very dark period. And I harmed people in my life, as you do when you're a practicing drug addict. And when you come back out of it, you're always still kind of damaged from it. Like you can come back 90-something%, but I don't think you ever come back 100% because you've done damage. You know, whatever that is, you've harmed your body, you've harmed relationships, you've harmed your reputation. So if you notice, this guy, the R2-D2 bottom, as you probably would say, you see the Band-Aid on him right there? That's because he's damaged. You see this guy right here? Well, you might notice tape on his knees, and all of the standers. They're not walkers. I call them standers because they're just standing. They got like their knees taped up and parts. And the reason why is they're all just a little bit damaged. And so all the characters in my universe, like none of them are not damaged. I tend to think that, like, honestly, I wouldn't say all people are damaged. Some people have had very smooth and clean, easy lives. I think that most people have been damaged in some way or another in their life. And it's a matter of how you come back from it. It's like, there's everything. And by the way, that is not a knock against people that have managed to skate through life and not be damaged. Like, hats off to you. You're pulling it off. Good job. I hope you never get damaged. But I don't think you're a majority. I think you're a minority, if that applies to you. So all the characters in the Stokely universe are damaged because most of us are damaged. So that's how it relates to the universe. I did not think of R2-D2 humping R2-D2. That never crossed my mind. Did I throw a Super Puppy from the original Dynamic discs? Yeah, my God, that was the best disc in the world for years. In fact, the owner of Super Puppy, the son of the owner, the original creator of the Super Puppy, Jan, just passed away a couple of years ago. His son, who owns Super Puppy mold, reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to buy it. And I talked to him about that, and I think we passed on it, but it's not out of the question. It's a 25-year-old mold. Molds actually rust. There's actually, molds aren't automatically like usable. Just because they were steel doesn't mean they're still good. George said, do I have Rick Schaefer's patented comment after seeing a good shot? Superior golf shot, Stokely. Of course, I wrote about it in my book. It was great. I love Rick. And I talk to Rick probably once a month, give or take, whether it's through text or on the phone. And every time I'm in Arizona, I go see Rick. He was one of my father figures, as were you, Joe, even though you were younger. Why am I popping up on my drives? If you mean putting those up on your drives, watch the video on my video, Scott Stokely throwing flat. That is the only solution to throwing flat. If you do what I tell you to do, you will throw flat. You'll never throw nose up again unless you choose to. When it comes time, are you going to proudly wear adult diapers on tour? Are you already wearing them now on video? Well, first off, yes. Of course, I'm going to wear adult diapers. And yes, I'll do it on tour. In fact, what better place than to wear them on tour? So I'll let you in on a secret. So this is something because, when you get older, by the way, if you're younger, I'm about to gross you out. Okay, so if you're younger, do this. La, 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 for the next 90 seconds. But you older folks are all going to totally appreciate this. So I assumed that I would be on coverage this year. It turns out I was only on coverage twice the whole year. But I assumed I was going to be on coverage. And early in the season, when I was dealing with E. coli, I had an enlarged prostate, which pressed on my bladder, which meant I had to pee every 15 minutes for a long period of time. And I didn't realize it was the E. coli. I thought it was just an aging thing. And I was like, this is terrible, but it's fine. I can deal with that. Except what if I get on coverage and I have to pee like every 15 minutes? Like, not every course has an opportunity to sneak off in the woods. Wooded course, I could probably pull it off even on coverage, right? But if I'm in a ball golf course, I can't. So what am I going to do? By the way, ready? Make sure, wait, one more minute. La, 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 young people. So I'm like, there's not bathrooms. I have to pee every 15 minutes because I thought it was my age. So what I did is I bought these pee bags that are basically disposable pee bags. They're about this long and they're flat. And what you can do is, even though I'm on coverage on a ball golf course, I would slide it down my pants. I would stand up behind Adrienne and just kind of put my arm around her like I'm just kind of holding her close to me. And then I would pee in the bag, and then I would dispose of the bag in my golf cart because the bags, they're pee bags, they seal. That's what I was going to do if I had to use the bathroom on coverage, because I didn't have any other options because of the stupid E. coli. So would I wear adult diapers? Yeah, I carried pee bags for the first few tournaments of the year until I got on antibiotics and fixed the E. coli. How about that for a visual none of you can unsee? And am I wearing them now? Of course I am. Like, how do you think I've sat here for 2.5 hours without going to the bathroom? Duh, it's adult diapers. I'm way over pride. Everybody, if you're younger, you'll be glad to know that you'll hit an age where you totally dispense with pride and you go with convenience.
Well, the alternative was the catheter. You wouldn't let me do that.
What?
The alternative was the catheter.
Yeah, she wanted to shove a catheter at me, and I told her no. Yeah, you know. No, I just no. The reason I'm opposed to the idea is because of how much fun you thought it would be. Because when you brought it up, you had this grin on your face, like when a 7-year-old hears they're going to Disney World. You're like, can we put a catheter? No, you can't. All right, now there. Try to get that visual out of your head. This is what happens late into the evening, everybody. At 9:15, we don't talk about this stuff, but by 11:20 or 11:40. Trade you feel twice liquid with some crazy disc golf video ideas. Any help to grow your social media? Yeah, first off, more than twice a week. Number one. Number two, stick with it. You have to put up content for years. YouTube doesn't give two poops about you when you have 50 videos up, 80 videos up, 100 videos up. Doesn't matter how good they are, how much people like them, how funny they are, how awesome. You need quantity. You need to be in the hundreds, 3, 4, 5, 600 videos before YouTube starts to go, okay, you're a player. That's super important. Make sure you post everything you do to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and maybe Twitter. You can do it by doing reels, but if you've taken the time to shoot content, take that extra little bit to grab a 15-second clip off that, and then post that to all your other social media as well. So post all the other media every single time. Do it consistently. And the final thing is disc golf video ideas, name drop. One of the best things you can do to get attention for yourself is when you're doing something, do something that happens to reference Gannon Burr, Paul Macbeth, Ricky Wysocki. It can be clips of them throwing. It can be talking about them. But if you name drop, you will get visitors because people will be searching for their names and they'll pull up. So use their names to generate interest. Now, no clickbait, no BS clickbait. Like, don't say, what does Gannon Burr think about da, 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 and then there's nothing about Gannon Burr in the video. Or if it seems like you're tricking people by that doesn't work because people unsubscribe and they don't click on your videos in the future. It's got to be valid. But if you do a video that says, Gannon Burr cash in long putts, and then you have permission to use these videos or something, then that's a great way. Name drop. You can name drop my name. Make sure you tag me though. Let's see. Any other questions? How much is your wrist hinge in your backhand drives? Absolutely love Latitude play. Thank you so much. So I don't know how much your wrist hinges, but here's what you're going to do. Keep your wrist straight. When you reach back, the top of your wrist is parallel to the back of your forearm when you reach back. Put your wrist in that position. Now, when you accelerate, your wrist will bend. Turn my wrist this way, you can see. Your wrist will bend during acceleration, but you don't have to bend it. Just keep it straight. It'll bend automatically, and then at the furthest point where your arm changes direction at the end of the pull, and your arm changes direction, that your wrist will automatically turn for you. So you don't have to do anything with your wrist. If you keep it straight, rest happens automatically. What course is or was harder? Naka Mixon or Iron Hill? I don't know either of them. So I do not have an answer. I've heard Iron Hill is the hardest, or was the hardest course for a while, but I can't tell you for sure. Favorite course to play in Arizona? God, I guess Fountain Hills. There's nothing I've really played in Arizona that really stood out. It's just well, I mean, the courses up, the best potential courses, hands down by far, up in Flagstaff, because they're up in the mountains where they can be long wooded holes. So I probably the courses in Flagstaff are probably the best, but they're just they're not long enough. Like there's no par, like just, last I heard, there's no like par 68s up there that are really challenging mountain wooded courses. If there were, that would be your course. If I could bring one classic out of production mold, what would it be and why? Oh. God, I get asked that all the time. None of them. I mean, they're all just, I mean, if a disc is out of production, it's because people weren't buying it or throwing it. So I think that discs they replaced the old ones. There's nothing really I would bring back.
Okay, wrap it up.
That's it. Oh, actually, hold on. The one where Amy says, I prefer the word.
What?
Amy Good starts off by saying, I prefer.
Wiser.
Yeah, no, but going to post it. It's not a question, but I want to reference it. All right, so you prefer the wiser over damaged. Okay, so I get your point, but the reason I like the word damaged is because it's a way of owning the parts of our life that are difficult, instead of like, I don't like to whitewash them. Like, it's kind of like when I say like, oh, I screwed up, and people are like, no, you didn't screw up. It's like, why are you telling me I didn't screw up? If I'm human, I screwed up. I screwed something up. Or I failed. Oh, you didn't fail. It's not really failing. As long as you learn from it, you didn't fail. Yes, I did fail. I failed and learned from it. So it's not semantics. I think to me that's a real important thing, is that to not whitewash. Is that the right word? To not whitewash things with like words where it's like, yeah, it might sting to say I failed. It might sting to say I screwed up. It might sting to say I'm not smart enough or good enough. It might sting to say I'm damaged. But if that's the reality, I feel like that's the most objective way to become wiser. Like, you start by like acknowledging the reality of things. Like, I failed a bunch of times in my life. I'm not afraid of the word failed or damaged or anything. So I know you were kind of just playing. I'm not trying to pick on your comment, by the way. I just think it's a great point, because I wanted to reference it. No, like, we're damaged. We're not saying you. I don't know if you are or not, but when I say we, I mean me and most of you. We're damaged. It's okay. It's okay to be damaged. Like, we can evolve. All right, last thing. You can purchase the Latitude 64 Primatist, the very first Latitude disc ever made. You can purchase them at scottstokely.net. Just click on the shop button up above. These are fantastic discs to have in your collection, because they're the first ones. They got 2 different colors as well. We also have the Juju from Chang, a hibernating, not dead, hibernating company that's going to be coming back to life soon. And that Juju is a heavy collectible disc. They go for between $100 and $250 on eBay, and I'm selling these for $50 a piece, brand new, in the first rung fusion plastic. These discs are like extremely unique. They are, the minute you buy them, they're worth more than you paid for them. I'm not going to like put them on eBay and wait for the auction to go up, or put them on an auction site and then have to, we're traveling full time. We can't stop at post offices and mail these, nor do we have room to keep them with us. So they're out of our warehouse. I'm selling them at a price where I could sell a bunch. But these are like an actual investment. I think they're cool. And the final thing, if you haven't, my 6-month online Become a Complete Disc Golfer class is taking signups at scottstokely.net. I cannot endorse it strongly enough. Everybody that's taken the class cannot endorse it strongly enough. It works. It's 6 months. It's not just me with videos. It's interactive, me teaching. You're there live asking questions. If you're not live, you still ask questions, and we'll reply to questions in the group chat. We got form reviews, an unlimited number of form reviews. So when you're working on stuff, you're not just left to figure stuff out on your own. You're going to do the step I gave you, not the whole throw, the step. Then I'm going to give you a form review, or me or the trainers, and then we're going to tell you what thing to work on. You go work on that. Then you shoot a video, send it back, give you a review. That's the back and forth that's going to happen the whole time. And once you've taken the class, if you want to become a disc golf teacher, take the class. And then at the end of it, there's going to be one certification class. And then you're going to be up at the Disc Golf Lessons website that I'm launching. I'm about to launch it. It'll be the #1 place in the sport to find disc golf teachers. So I will be sending you students for private lessons, and then clinics if you want, for kids, team building, like whatever thing you want to do with your disc golf teaching, you'll have certification to do it. And I'll be sending you students. You could probably do this for a living if you live in Chicago or Charlotte or Nashville or one of these big meccas. Like, you probably could teach disc golf for a living in these towns. In most places, I wouldn't say that becoming a disc golf teacher is necessarily a career, but it's certainly a great way to make probably more than you're making per hour for most people as a side gig. But it's enjoyable. If you enjoy disc golf and teaching, like, I'll teach you how to teach. I'm really proud of this, but I hope you all take advantage of it. And final thing, please post to your social media, Facebook pages. Tell people about my 6-month class. If you follow me, I think a lot of you probably follow my teaching. You've taken my seminars. You're doing my online class. You've seen my tutorial videos. You know how I teach. A lot of people will sign up for that 6-month class. Just how do you reach these people? They're not all aware of it. Not every single person's on my page. So if you post to your club page, not just your personal page, but your club page, let everybody know about my class at your club page, especially if you've taken the class and seen how well it works. It will send people my way. And that would be, if you want to support what I do, or show appreciation for all the tutorial videos you've gotten so far that have helped your game, that's how you can reciprocate. Send people to my online class. All right, I just saw something that said new comments. Is there anything? Honest review of Pickard Park Des Moines Challenge this year from you, your friendly starter. I thought that Pickard Park at Des Moines, I would give the course an A. And I'm not just saying it because you were the starter of the course. I thought it was one of the funnest courses. It was probably one of the 3 funnest courses of the year. It had great variety. It had interesting holes. It had very fair OB. I think the course could have been a little bit harder. I was shooting I think I shot 4 to 7 under each round, which was 10. I shot 10.24 for the tournament. I hope that courses like par becomes 10.20. Like, that's what I hope that will happen with courses, just because that's what that's the only thing. I mean, a lot of those holes could have been harder. But they were super, super fun. I mean, by the way, just because it's harder doesn't mean it loses a grade. It just means it was just could have been harder. I'm not sure what that would be if it's more length or move the OB in a little bit tighter. But I love the course. It was fantastic. I said, all right, thanks, everybody. I hope to see you sign up for the class. I hope to see you. Please tell people about the class. Like I'll say last time, that's the best thing you can do to support what I do. Tell people, not on your page. Well, on your page, yes, but on your club pages. That's the best place you can tell people about my 6-month online class. It's scottstokely.net. Thanks, everyone.